are continuing with the Egypt game that I started last Saturday. We have gone a little ways in. It's still only 2002, almost 2003, but it is Millennium Dawn. So, if we get through a couple years every session, I'll be pretty happy with that. In an okay position. We have tried to fix our energy deficit. Not very well. We're still in a bit of a negative, unfortunately, here, but we are working on it. And then we are working on the economy. We have started manufacturing vehicles, which are, of course, going to be European. We're not making our own. I don't know if there's a way for us to do that. If there is, we will. But for now, we are simply working on about to be American Jeep. Jeep's still owned by America, right? I think it is. Yeah, GM, General Motors. Thank you for the sub. Gray, what is up? Good to see you. Glad you enjoy the streaming. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're going to do this series. I want to try and go like a little ways for this Egypt playthrough. I haven't done a longer one in Millennium Dawn for a while, so I will probably continue to do it over the next month or two. I am going to be doing a multiplayer game starting a week from tomorrow. It'll be a Victoria 3 game, open to everybody, light roleplay. If you want to join that, details are in the Discord, so there will be some multiplayer coming back up. It's a Bombadillon. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. Sphere of Influence, I don't know if you guys have tried it. It's the new Victoria 3 DLC. Not a paid promotion, of course. Paradox doesn't know I exist. I live in the shadows. But it looks really good, and I want to try that out in multiplayer, so that will be coming a week from Sunday. So, probably going to be streaming on Saturday and Sunday, but I'll be keeping them on a reasonable time frame. Okay, so we have been working on the slums in Egypt. Huge problem in Cairo, Alexandria. A lot of the other big cities in Egypt is just sprawling urban spread, which has not been properly planned, so it's really bad for just infrastructure and the economy as a whole. We've been working on that. And then, of course, we just had 9/11 happen not too long ago, so we are going to be working with the U.S. We are playing Hosni Mubarak, which, if you follow politics at all and are like me in your late 20s or anything beyond that, you'll remember this guy prior to the Arab Spring when he got ousted from power. I think it around like 2011, 2010. Interesting guy, much like basically all the leaders of Egypt, Sadat, Mubarak, and then now El-Sisi, all ex-military or really current military. The Egyptian military is very influential in politics, to put it lightly, so we kind of got to pay service to them. There's even a whole mechanic for it. If they don't like us, they get pissed off and they start a civil war, which we're in pretty good with them right now. We're pretty close with them. The only big issue is, I guess, our interest rate, and given our over $1 trillion in debt, that's a little reasonable. It is quite high. I've managed to keep it reasonable, but it's pretty rough. We're running still a pretty big deficit. We won't solve that for a little while with our economy, but we are going to work on that. So today, I think for Egypt, it'll probably be a lot more of just working on that economic growth, and hopefully nothing too crazy happens. Like I said, we're trying to balance a little bit of our own domestic interests, trying to, become a more sovereign power, which the more we do, the more powerful we become due to the Suez, right? There's many nations that are in unimportant areas of the world, not to put it impolitely, right? So as they grow in power, it's going to be a little less influential on their standing geopolitically in the UN, militarily, right? Things like that. But Egypt, of course, is one of the most strategic areas of the world. Historically, and now obviously due to the Suez Canal, which we have, the Suez Trade Authority is under our jurisdiction. It was given to us by the British. So, very interesting case of the stronger Egypt gets, the more influential they are, kind of on a rate that I think would maybe only be comparable to perhaps Indonesia for international trade, given the Strait of Malacca. So, pretty interesting country, pretty interesting position. We'll see if we can deal a little bit with the debt today. You made Zimbabwe the powerhouse of Africa the other day. Holy crap, what did you do? With good old Mugabe? Did you stay with Mugabe or did you go with someone else? They unfortunately don't have like a unique focus tree. They do have the African Union, which is the new kind of EU-esque tree a lot of countries have now in Africa. It's a lot of fun. We just had ours founded, along with Dear Gaddafi, so we'll have some mechanics we can work with on that. So yeah, let's go ahead and get going. Hope everyone is having a good week. Let me see if I can get the game running a little quicker here. I think I'm due for a GPU upgrade as well. I might try and get that done sometime this year. It's so weird, isn't it, how, like, you'll buy parts to a PC at the time when you're upgrading or building a new computer, and you're like, oh man, these specs are so good, this is so great, I can run games on max settings, and then a year or two later, it's like, you know, you've got a mid-level PC. Crazy how quickly that goes. Technically, the one I have is, like, we're kind of dealing with a bit of the Ship of Theseus type thing here, but technically, it's over a decade old. I think the only parts of my PC that are still that old is the casing, and then I think one of my hard drives. The rest of it being newer. It's kind of doing upgrades and stuff like that. Trade agreement with Honduras. Absolutely. Our recent measures to combat slums have produced the desired results. So, this does have a major impact on our economy. I believe if we get rid of all the slums in Egypt, we get rid of that really bad negative modifier we've got, which is called, one moment, somewhere in here. Or did we get rid of it? I didn't think we did. Yeah, there it is. Broken economy. Very bad modifier we're currently getting. Tax cost factor, 30%, so 30% of our civs, hands off, in addition to what we have beyond that. Construction speed reduction, research speed reduction, factory output reduction, and then we're just losing 3 billion every tick. So this is awful. The main way we get rid of it is getting rid of the slums. Unfortunately, every time we do this, and we have to do it 16 times, we lose another 4 billion. So another one of those cases of to solve your problems, you gotta spend money. But spending money make things worse. It's great, isn't it? The cycles of development economics. So let's go ahead and clear some slums in Alexandria, I think. Very important trading city for us, our biggest port, and historically super important for our country. What's up, Battlebird? How are you doing? Glad you can make the stream as well. What are you up to? I got rid of him in the end. Mubarak sorted the health crisis. Might need to turn the music down a touch. Thank you. What can I do to do that? One moment. Bear with me for just one moment. Uh-oh. We're good. How's that? Is that music a little better? Appreciate you telling me as well. I can never hear on the other side, so it's always nice. Let me know if that's a good kind of volume there, Vivi. Recovering from work this week, going to do some shopping while watching the stream. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. That free shopping dopamine, perfect. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. What's up, Charles? I wish that we could look into ballistic missiles. We should fully expand our ballistic missiles so we might be able to show our might. Yeah. I mean, for us, obviously, I was just thinking about that before stream when I was looking at the map, and I was looking at Israel, and I'm like, you know, they've only got a couple divisions on our border, and we kind of got to treat them. We have to treat them with a lot of, we'll go over respect, perhaps. That's because Israel obviously has nuclear weapons. Technically, Israel does not acknowledge the fact that it has nuclear weapons. It does have nuclear weapons. So, for us getting some sort of ballistic missiles, maybe a nuclear program later, if we get close enough with the West that they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. Very good idea. It would go a long way, I think. Alrighty, we got done with Jeep. So we are now manufacturing American-made Jeeps in our country. We have a pretty good relationship with America at the moment, which is a good place to be. Kind of selling our soul to the devil a little bit, but, you know, those investments, whew, hard to say no to that. This one I want to wait a little bit on because it's a timed modifier. Whenever you play any Hearts of Iron game in general, folks, always look at your focuses and what they give you. It can look very good, but it can sometimes have a limited amount of time. For example, Bank Mazir, it gives us a lovely boost to tax revenue and civ construction. However, it only lasts for 3 years, which is a good amount of time, to be fair. But that's something you kind of want to time more when you have more civs to start off with, right? So, like, the longer we wait, the more powerful that focus becomes. A little bit of metagaming, but that's fine. I don't think we're going to solve our energy crisis, otherwise I might do some more of this. So, perhaps... That's really good. That's very good. Bear with me, I have to think about what we're going to do here. Again, we got Mubarak in charge. He's still kind of, I don't want to say in his prime, but he's still running things as competently as he ever did. Okay. So we have to get better relations with some of these other countries if we want to go further down our auto manufacturing, which we do, given the civs it gives in general and what it will allow us to get later. So we'll send a diplomat to Germany right now to start making deals potentially on leasing some of their auto manufacturing. Another aggression pact as well there. Good old Schroeder. Talk about a man with a tainted legacy right there. And then in the meanwhile, again, another one we want to wait on a little bit there. Probably either telecom or tourism industry, I think, would be the way to go here. Egypt is a perfect place for tourism, but probably needs a bit more development first. That would be very nice, actually. We'll go telecom. Telecom Egypt is Egypt's primary telephone company. It started in 1854 with the first telegraph line in Egypt. In 1998, it replaced the former Arab Republic of Egypt's national telecommunication organization. The Arab Republic, of course, being the, I think, around 10-year-old state that existed in the 50s to the 60s, where Egypt and Syria created a single country. So we'll get going on that. Very useful to us. All right, cool. And then we're getting just about everything else we need. Cool. So when we're done with this focus, we'll go for Mercedes-Benz manufacturing, and then we'll go down the rest of our automobile manufacturing. Economy in the gutter. Let us start thinking about nukes. Sounds familiar. Yeah, right? It's a good use of resources. It's not like, you know, that's a waste or anything like that. We're not going to get more corruption. We have plenty under Mubarak right now. I put this, my last stream up on YouTube, on my VOD channel like I normally do. And someone commented about, like, Mubarak, because at one point, not yesterday, but last week I asked kind of, like, how Sisi and Mubarak are viewed by Egyptians. Yeah, and, you know, don't take this as absolute, but I found it interesting. He just mentioned the fact that apparently, currently, according to him, Mubarak is actually kind of viewed positively in Egypt, given that El-Sisi is so disliked. He's the current president of Egypt, very much a strong man, very thuggish. I would say would be an accurate assessment. Ex-military, very corrupt, very thuggish, not very popular. He's so disliked now. There's kind of a bit of a case of like nostalgia and greener grass. So a lot of people, apparently in Egypt, view Mubarak positively, which is pretty wild considering he was, you know, so unpopular. The Arab Spring kind of just completely wiped him from power as a dictator. But Egypt didn't get anything better with Sisi, right? And he mentioned as well that in Mubarak's final couple of years, prior to his ousting, I want to go 2011, I believe it was, or 2012, he kind of wasn't doing a lot in government, and it was more his children running things. Apparently, according to this guy, he was thought to have depression after the death of his grandson, who he loves. I don't know if that's true or not, but I found that to be kind of interesting. Because it's always the case, you know, that there's like the public perception of leaders, you know, from the outside perspective when you don't live in a country, and then they're kind of how they're viewed there, which I always find to be sometimes much more interesting, right? I used to do a lot of Model United Nations. Actually, let me change that real quick. When I was younger, Model UN is kind of like Millennium Dawn roleplay for nerds, but without a video game. I think that's an accurate assessment. And as part of that, you'd always... Well, I gotta fix this. This is very bad. One moment. We are yet again running a big energy deficit, which, given Millennium Dawn's energy update, will cripple your economy. All your factories stop working, so... We gotta get a surplus going here. But anyway, whenever I did research for countries in Model UN, you know, I'd always go to different places to read about a country, say a fact book, Encyclopedia Britannica, all sorts of sites out there that kind of give you that very technical assessment of a country. Imports, exports, population, GDP, all very interesting factors about a country, of course. But they don't really give you, like, a country's own look on a person or on the nation, right? So it's always nice if you can kind of just get a different perspective on things. Not always easy to do, but they're out there. I don't want to go with saying it's more useful, but it's always good to kind of have that perspective in mind if you want to learn a bit more about a country. All right, we're going to do some of our manufacturing stuff here. A note on this, by the way, folks, I only will do one. In Millennium Dawn, compared to base game, in Millennium Dawn, given there is the economy system, if you upgrade any of your military industrial organizations, which you should because the stat boosts are incredible, it costs money, which I believe is scaled on GDP. So every time we do one of these, it's Egypt right now, it's costing us $1.5 billion, which for us is something we can't afford, right? So if you're like me and you just see that button and you want to click it, don't. Just wait. And then for our Nave land doctrine here, max planning factor, initiative, coordination, all fantastic stats. Planning speed, max planning, and coordination. So we kind of get coordination versus initiative. Initiative is the stat that basically boosts your recon. So you'll have a better chance, depending on general level, to be able to pick better tactics. Very important, very overlooked feature of Hearts of Iron 4. But in this case, we are going to go high-level military initiative, because I do want that higher coordination. Coordination allows your units on the ground to be able to target the weaker units. So if you've got like a battle going on, you've got 5 divisions, they've got 5 divisions, and let's say one of their divisions is pretty like mid-org while the other ones are max-org, your divisions are more likely to target the weaker one and de-org them and push them out. So it's especially useful if you're trying to push. It's a very useful stat. Alright, get rid of that so I stop clicking on it. We're doing a pro-West run on Egypt. I remember that the last vote 180 days from large conservative to largely liberal. Yeah, so our country nationally over the course of last session has gone to liberal society, as you can see here. So we are at the moment very much going pro-Western. We've kind of symbolically backed America after 9/11. We have done a couple focuses aligning ourselves with America. We are manufacturing things made in the West and stuff. So yeah, much like real life, Mubarak's Egypt is very much aligning with the West and with America, primarily as a tool to try and get access to their developmental funds, right? Investments, which the West has by far, especially in 2002, the most wealth of. In the modern day, China is very much, I'd say, a good rival in terms of that for countries if they're looking for international development, but not in 2003. All right, these are very expensive. My gosh. That is unfortunate, but worthwhile. A lot of infrastructure. We'll do Mobile expansion. Mobile is the oldest mobile network operator in Egypt, founded in March 4th of 1998. Mobile provides voice and data exchange services, as well as 4G, 3D, ADSL, and broadband internet. So, trying to upgrade our network infrastructure for our internet and telephone communication in Egypt, and then we're getting that sweet, sweet infrastructure as well, which, in Millennium Dawn, is a lot more expensive than in base game, in terms of how construction works. So, focuses that give it are very nice. You heard What's Somewhere, Coco, about Mubarak? We should maybe slowly influence Libya or Sudan, as is somewhat unstable, or aid Sudan in their South Sudan issue under the claim of peacekeeping. Yeah, I agree with you. Sudan in particular is one we want to keep an eye on. There is that civil war ongoing right now between Sudan and South Sudan, which I'm going to level with you. I actually don't know a lot about. The only thing I know about South Sudan is they almost beat the American basketball team in a pregame for the Olympics this year. I don't know if any of you guys follow basketball. It's the one sport I kind of care about besides soccer on a good year. And South Sudan's team almost beat the American super team, which was pretty funny. But given it is on our southern border, historically, what is now Sudan was in Egypt, and actually, I believe 1 or 2 dynasties that ruled Egypt were from that region. We keep a very close eye on things, so I agree with you. Libya, I don't know about influencing them. Gaddafi and Mubarak had a pretty good relationship. They worked together on a lot of issues, especially the African Union, which we are a big supporter of. We don't get to be a major factor in it right now because we are actually not a regional power, given the amount of influence other countries have on us at the moment, which we'll have to lower. But we need it right now for investments and things like that. Where is that mechanic? Let me find it. There we go. Yeah. Holy shit. America has 50% influence on us. Japan is 10. So due to this, we don't get our regional power status. But I think in particular Sudan we want to keep an eye on. The Abdel Nasser Division. Sounds good. I'll rename one. I'll go to tank unit. Abdel Nasser Division. There you are. Okay. So, you know what? We're going to do a bit of reading, because I don't know anything about this, and I kind of need to. Or want to. It's Time for our first Wikipedia read of the day. Sudanese Civil War. I believe it was religious, but that's a cop-out. Okay, so there's been 3. Shows you how much I know about the Sudanese Civil War. The first Sudanese Civil War was in 55 to 72. The second, wow, 83 to 05. And apparently there's another ongoing right now that started in 2003. I'm going to read a little bit about this, folks. This is for me, and I hope you guys enjoy it too. And then I'll go back to playing, because I do want to understand this better. Okay. The Second Sudanese Civil War is a conflict between 83 and 05 between the Central Sudanese government and the Sudan's People Liberation Army. It was a continuation of the First Civil War from 55 to 72, although it originated in southern Sudan. The Civil War spread to the Nuba Mountains and the Blue Nile. It lasted almost 22 years. Roughly 2 million people died as a result of war, famine, disease caused by the conflict. 4 million people in southern Sudan were displaced. Okay, so let's read about the causes. I'm more interested in that. Wars in Sudan have often been characterized as fights between the central government expanding and dominating peoples on the periphery, raising allegations of marginalization of, I guess, various cultures and tribes, I'd imagine. Kingdoms and great powers based along the Nile River have fought against the people of inland Sudan for centuries, since at least the 18th century. Central governments have attempted to regulate and exploit the underdeveloped southern and inland regions of Sudan. Some sources describe the conflict as an ethno-religious one, where the Arab Muslim central government pursuit to impose Sharia law in 83 on non-Muslim southerners led to violence and eventually the Civil War. When the British government governed Sudan as a colony, they administered the northern and southern provinces separately. Oh boy. The south, yet another conflict caused by post-British colonial line deciding. The South has held to be more similar to other East African colonies, Kenya, Tanganyika, and Uganda, while northern Sudan was more similar to Arab-speaking Egypt. Northern Arabs were prevented from holding positions of power in the South with its African traditions, and trade was discouraged between the two areas. In 46, the British gave it into northern pressure to integrate the two areas. Arabic was made the language of administration in the South, and northerners began to hold positions there. The southern elite trained in English resented the change as they were kept out of government. After decolonization, most power was given to northern elites based in Khartoum, causing unrest in the South. The British moved towards granting Sudan independence, but did not invite southern Sudanese leaders to participate. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Yet another example of the British understanding the people they govern. The transitional period in the 50s. In the post-colonial government of 53, the Sudanization Committee had only 6 Southerners in its 800 senior administrative positions. The Second War was partially about natural resources between the North and South, with the significant oil fields and thus significant foreign interests. The oil revenue is privatized to Western interests, as in Nigeria. The Northerners wanted to control these resources because they live on the edge of the Sahara Desert, which is unsuitable for agricultural development. Oil revenues make up about 70% of Sudan's export earnings. Wow. Due to the numerous tributaries of the Nile River and heavier precipitation in South Sudan, it has superior water access and more fertile land. Okay, so very much a resource issue, oil and agriculture. There has also been a significant amount of deaths from warring tribes in the south. Most of the conflict has been between the Nura and Dinka, but other ethnic groups have been involved. The Accords of the Addis Ababa Agreement had been incorporated in the Constitution of Sudan. The violence of the agreement led to the Second Civil War. Okay. The first violations occurred when President Ghaffar Namiri attempted to take control of the oil fields straddling the north-south border. Oil had been discovered in Bintu in 78, in southern Kordofan and upper Blue Nile in 79. Access to the oil fields meant significant economic benefit to whoever controlled them. Islamic fundamentalists in the north had been discontented with Addis Ababa Agreement, which gave relative autonomy to the non-Islamic majority in southern Sudan's autonomous region. The fundamentalists continued to grow in power, and in 83, President Namiri declared all of Sudan an Islamic state, terminating the South Sudan Autonomous Region and starting the Second Sudanese Civil War. In May of 83, divisions of the Sudanese military mutinied in towns of Bor, South Sudan, and Pibor. Government soldiers moved to suppress the mutiny, but were repulsed by the rebels. The Sudan People's Liberation Army was founded in 83 as a rebel group to re-establish an autonomous southern Sudan by fighting against the central government. While based in southern Sudan, it identifies itself as a movement for all oppressed Sudanese citizens. Okay. Cool. In 85, senior military officials led by General Abdel Rahman Swar al-Dab mounted a coup among the first acts of the new government was to suspend the constitution, rescind the decree declaring Sudan's intent to become an Islamic state, and disband the Sudanese Socialist Union. Whoa. The September laws instituting Islamic Sharia law were not suspended. Okay. Alright, we don't need to go too much more in detail. Kind of gives us a bit of a background. So obviously it sounds like we are very much supporting the North. Let me see if there's anything on that real quick. So currently, there is a military pact already with Egypt with Northern Sudan that's ongoing. In July 2000, the Libyan-Egyptian Joint Initiative on the Sudan called for the establishment of an interim government, power sharing, constitutional reform, and new elections. Southern critics objected to the joint initiative because it neglected to address issues of the relationship between religious and state, and failed to mention the right of self-determination. Yeah, so we support the North by a lot. In 1999, Egypt and Libya initiated an Egypt-Libya initiative. By this time, the peace process of the Intergovernmental Authority on Drought and Development had reached a stalemate. The ELI's main purpose had been to bring members of the non-Southern opposition, especially opposition to the North, aboard the talks. However, as the ELI avoided contentious issues, such as secession, it lacked support from the SPLA. Alright, yeah, so we're supporting the North. We want basically the status quo, so... What do we want to do here as Mubarak? It's 2003, we've been kind of pushing for this for a while. We very much do support the North, and we don't really want the South to have independence, so... We'll send some military aid. What do we have that we can give them? Apparently they've got plenty of oil. We'll send some guns. Gives us a bit of influence on them as well. Would they need mad pads? Probably not. We'll give them 100 though, just in case. And then we'll give them some support equipment as well. And 5 convoys. And then we're going to send a military attaché when we can as well. So we're going to heavily back them. I think it was religious. Are mountain holdouts easier to break in MD, or are they just the same as HOI4? They're much harder. In particular, militia divisions are very adept at holding mountain passes and mountains with very little equipment, so it is, I would say, much tougher than base HOI4. Terrain matters more in Millennium Dawn, by a lot, actually. When will the next mega campaign be? What's up, Curse? It will start after Roads of Power come out and the mods I want updates, so I'd say sometime in the probably early winter of this year. Couple months. I don't know how long it will take the mods to update for Roads of Power, given how dramatic a change it is to the game, but we'll see. So, by the end of the year for sure. I don't know when that will be, but I do want to make sure that I get all the mods that I want for that campaign, so we'll see. Decolonization issues, religious, resources. I think we got a Civil War bingo. Yeah, it hits all the dots, doesn't it? Should be able to do German manufacturing now too, yeah. Mercedes-Benz factory. Mercedes-Benz, commonly referred to as Mercedes and sometimes as Benz, is a German luxury and commercial vehicle automotive brand established in 2006. Benz is headquarters in Stuttgart, Baden-Württemberg, and Germany. So we'll get a sieve to manufacture German-made cars in our country. We'll lose even more domestic influence, but that's fine. It'll cost us around $5 billion. The majority of that cost is going to go to the Germans, though. Cool. All right, and then we'll send that attaché as well. I don't think we're going to send volunteer divisions, though. I don't think we're at the point we can justify that. But we have a very big vested interest in the conflict. What's up, Fishes Maximus? What's up, Hastening? How are you doing? Plans for Egypt right now are just Western-focused development, expansion of automotive industry and other industries in Egypt, and then building up our military as well. So, I'm playing very historical Egypt for now. We'll see how things go with the, elections, and where kind of events go of the Arab Spring. But for now, pretty historic. What's up, Draconeer? How'd you like the Olympic performance? I know you were looking forward to it. Anything else we want to do here? Our deficit's getting even worse. Don't look at it. We're trying to outscale our debt with economic expansion at the moment, so. Egyptian Communist Party leader agitates factory workers. We got to go after that. We'll try and hit him a little bit here. We got the political power for it. Speaking of which, what do we want to do with ours? We can do pretty much anything at the moment. I really want to reduce corruption, but it's not really justifiable. Take a look through our decisions here. We're going to go ahead and remove another slum in the Suez. It looks like that another one popped up while we were waiting. Unfortunate. How are the cops with us right now? Okay. Maybe we can get another bailout from the Americans. Let's see. Oh, God. That'll just give them so much influence over us is the problem. But we kind of need to, don't we? Alright. Let's go ask the Americans and the Japanese for another debt bailout here. It's a lot, so I'm going to do it. We're about to be bought and paid for by the American government and the Japanese investment banks, but you know, that's the price you pay for economic turmoil. Gajira kicked ass. They played on platforms on the side of a prison that Marie Antoinette kept in. I saw a bit of it, man. Like, didn't it open with like her with her head chopped off or something? It was pretty good. Is there a mod similar to MD for Victoria 3? Pithy, no. The closest, I guess, would be the Cold War mod for it, which last I heard was no longer in development as they wanted to make a standalone game. But that was kind of in the area of it. I got my fingers crossed that one day we get a Millennium Dawn in Victoria 3, but it will not be anytime soon. The Olympic Games, my hot take is that the last time a gold medal was given was the 5th Games in Stockholm, and since that's just been gold plated. That seems like a big technicality to be able to act like your country's got this stuff hastening. But reasonable. Alright. Revival of El Nazir Cars. Nazir is Egypt's state-owned automobile company. It is the first Arab vehicle manufacturer, founded in 1960 in Helwan, Egypt. We looked a bit at this last week. They don't manufacture cars anymore. They stopped in like 2008 or 2009. They're currently working supposedly on like an EV electronic car that they're going to start developing. I have a sneaking suspicion that won't happen, but you never know. In 2024, Egypt's situation is really bad. Yeah, their development projects like in the Suez Canal, like expansion, things like that didn't go very well. And then they tried to build that new capital that didn't go any well. I mean, I think it's just pretty obvious that Sisi is pretty incompetent and the corruption's just destroying the country. Yeah, the new capital project. I drove by that actually when I was in Egypt, and like it's like when it just had gotten started and it looked like such a mess. Not a bad idea to like, you know, I guess get around the problems in Cairo for like manufacturing and to be able to like develop like a more modern part of the country, but it was not done very well. Conservatives on Twitter got banned and called it satanic. That's a choice. Alright, let's see if we can lower influence a little bit with our political power. We're going to combat foreign influence, and then I'm going to attack America and Japan when I can's influence as well. We need to get those numbers down. They are really high, and they're hurting us. We're in a liberal society now as Egypt, right? So maybe we want to do a couple of these. We'll subsidize Western culture. We'll expand female employment options. We're not going to give representation, though. And we're... Oh, that's a big change right there. Let's not do that. We definitely won't be decriminalizing same-sex relations. I visited Egypt when I was in college in my first couple of years with my buddy, because he was Egyptian. His family, he's first generation, I think. They moved to California, where I was living. And I spent a couple of weeks in Egypt, which was really fun. His family was really interesting and stuff like that as well. One of like his friends had a couple like gay friends in Egypt. I remember him talking about like supposedly, this was Sisi's government, this wasn't Mubarak, like they would use like gay dating apps to basically like set up sting operations. So like they use like things like Grindr or like Tinder back in the day to like find gay guys in Cairo. They'd take them to like, you know, hotel rooms, and then it would just be like the secret police there, and then they get taken to like, you know, deep cells within the prison system. Fucking wild, dude. I always hike the syntax and hold on tight. The stability hit is brutal, and we're at 50. I was looking at it, we have raised it a little bit. It's at 35% right now. We could raise it a bit more. The main problem is the impact, as you can see right now as I'm raising it, is not the best. We kind of have more structural issues which are hurting our income rather than anything else. Oh my god, look at that unemployment. Not great. The Middle East trying to not waste all their money on big cool projects like Saudi Arabia. Have you guys seen the line? Hold up, I gotta show this. I think a lot of you know about this already. Holy shit, dude. This is Muhammad Salman's like, I am king of the world project here. Let me stream this real quick. Okay, this is the line, if you haven't heard about it. It's like a mega project Saudi Arabia is doing with their developmental organizations. It looks really fucking cool. Practicality-wise, it's looking rough. You can see it here. This is the line. It's gonna be this like giant, I don't even know how to describe it. How do they describe it? Like a giant city, I guess, but like in a straight line. Here we go. Okay, this will show it. Because this is the line, what it's supposed to be. Let's see if I can get something more specific about it. It's got a couple different proponents. It's supposed to be about like development, right? They want to make like the region of that like Red Sea kind of like resorts, living, like higher quality kind of stuff like that. And then there's the line, which I don't know why I can't find anything about it right now on their own website here. Let's see. Go to the, here we go, the line. That's where it's going to go across. The city is one of 9 announced regions of Neom and is part of Saudi Arabia's 2030 project, which Saudi Arabia claims will generate around 460,000 jobs and add 48 billion to the economy. Blah, 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 blah. Trying to find like a picture of it. It's only just got it started. It's something like, I think 1.5 trillion is going to be invested in it or something. You can kind of see where it's going. They're excavating it right now. It's going to be like the city that just like stretches in a straight line. It's supposed to be environmentally friendly. They're going to, here's like the concept art for it. It looks like something out of a sci-fi book. Unfortunately, everything suggests that it is like a exercise in pure ego from the current ruler of Saudi Arabia and is going to be practically impossible to do. So on the map, that'd be like right here. Speaking of mega projects, if you've never heard about it, take a look. It's fucking wild. If they pull it off, holy shit, it will be very cool. I don't think they're going to pull it off, so we'll see. Neom, yeah, Neo. Saudi is crazy with what they want to build. It is. Again, everything suggests they're over budget, they're behind schedule. There's been, I think, statements from some of the engineers that they're like struggling with the practicalities of even creating it. But when asked about it, Mohammed bin Salman's been like, no, it's going to be done by 2030, which... maybe. It'd be cool if they did it. Haven't they made the plans much shorter for the line? There was a statement, I think, also from one of their engineers that said that, like, they're going to have to shorten it massively to, like, 1/5 of what it was supposed to be. And again, Mohammed bin Salman said, no, they're not doing that. We'll see. It's not only a line, it's a series of projects. It is cursed. So, like, the line is the big famous part of it. They're doing a bunch of other things. They're building, like, resorts along, like, the Red Sea there. They're building, like, a bunch of cities and stuff like that as well. So just overall a developmental project. Not a bad thing to be doing with the money that Saudi has, to be sure, but some of it's just, it's too much. It's unnecessary, and it's a waste of resources. Alrighty. The music back here. Pretty interesting, though. Arab American vehicles. The company manufactures various vehicles under license from Daimler, AG, Kia, Stellantis, and Toyota. Having begun as a venture in 1977 between the Arab Organization for Industrialization and American motor companies to assemble Jeeps. We get a utility vehicle bonus, we get 3 building slots in the Sinai, we get a Civ, and then America likes us more and has even more influence. Always good. Alright, we can do more building. We'll expand our civs in Alexandria. You did not miss anything, Alex. What is up? Not dictator, crown prince. There's a difference. It is a very small difference, but yes, he is the monarch. Saudi Arabia is very much a monarchy. It's going to burn a massive hole in their pocket. It is. Let me see if I can really quickly find like the investment amount in it. Let's see. Yeah, they're doing it with their public investment fund, or most of the funds are coming from that, I believe. That's their sovereign wealth fund. Fascinating subject. I want to say it was around $1 trillion. Where is it? They own EA? Oh, stakes, okay. There it is. Bloomberg estimates that Saudi Arabia has invested 1.5 trillion in the NEOM project. So that includes the line and the other cities they're building. It's a lot. Don't get me wrong. They have the money to burn. If anyone does, it's Saudis, right? But it's a strange thing, right? Because a lot of these, like, oil states, right? Like, you know, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, UAE, even like Indonesia, right, that are so dependent historically and currently on like oil exports, right, for all the money and the wealth they have, and they have a lot of it. They need a transition, right? Like, that oil won't last forever, and the global economy won't run on oil forever. It can't. It just won't, right, with global warming at some point. So they need to diversify. They need to like invest those funds, and they need to get out of like just oil. And they've started to do that, you know, like the Saudis and the UAE and Kuwait in particular. They've built sovereign investment funds, or just their private wealth of the Saudis and other families. They've invested that in trying to expand like their options for like the post-oil, you know, state of their countries. It's just they do it so poorly. Projects like this, good in theory, in practice, they're just gonna waste so much. That's a shame. High debt causes companies to leave. Oh, I don't want to lose a Civ. We'll take the hit. We'll take the 20 billion hit. Small and medium business owners like that, and so do the oligarchs. That's rough, but we kind of have to do that. I do not want to lose a Civ here. We're starting to actually build up a bit of an economy, and we cannot be losing that. What route are we taking as Egypt, and how far have you been doing it? What's up, Dolphin? We're going western for the moment, unless elections take us another way. And just been kind of working on development. So, Grover, doing pretty good. How you doing? Dude, my summer is pretty chill, man. Pretty chill. I've kind of just had a very relaxed one. Playing a lot of games. Spending time with friends and stuff like that. I'm moving in a month, so very relaxed, very chill summer. And then in like a month, going back to college will be very hectic. The series of projects included Neom Line, the Sindala, Trajina, and Oxagon. I have a 13-minute long video on it that quickly explains the entire Neom project. Yeah, link it. We can watch that real quick. Be interesting. I've watched a couple myself, but if you haven't heard about it, it is kind of interesting just to know about. Oh my god, our energy deficit's getting even worse. Yikes. Okay. We really need this. We really need this. I will do Vodafone. Vodafone Group PLC is a British multinational telecommunications company. Its registered office and global headquarters are in Newbury, Berkshire, England. It predominantly operates services in Asia, Africa, Europe, and Oceania. I always will associate the Vodafone logo with, I think, wasn't it Arsenal who had it on their jerseys in the 2000s? Always makes me think of that. Maybe you could, if election do not goes your way, do an army coup. The game will automatically do it, Charles, if it doesn't go our way. You're starting a new job, hell yeah. We're still in security, man? No longer going to be a security officer. Wow, what are you going to be doing? Yeah, the Saudis do love golf. They bought Golf, I think LIV it's called, wasn't it? And here we go, mega builds. We'll watch this video really quickly, it is pretty interesting. Yeah, LIV. They bought Newcastle too. That's why Newcastle's doing so well nowadays. They pump so much money, the football team, in the Premier League. Government job in planning and zoning development. A zoning inspector. Hell yeah, dude. When I see zoning inspector, I think of like The Sopranos. Hopefully you won't be working for the mafia. But that's cool, dude. I'm glad for you. A little safer, I'm sure. I'm sure your wife loves that. All right, here we go. I know if the audio works well here.
The line, Trojina, Sindala, An oxagon. This is NEOM, Saudi Arabia's vision for the future. An advanced, sustainable, and futuristic megacity unlike any other. In October of last year, many trailers and videos about the start of its construction reached millions of people around the world. But somehow, updates regarding its current progress are difficult to find. So what exactly has been going on, and how much, if any, have they already built? Starting off with me. Hi, I'm Regis, and I've been hosting this channel of
we'll skip that.
First announced back in 2021 by Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the line is by far the country's most ambitious mega project to date. It's supposed to be a self-sustaining linear city that would stretch more than 100 kilometers from the Red Sea up to about the city of Tabuk to the east. The plan for the city consists of two 500-meter tall buildings that would run...
Okay, so this part right here, or is it? Yeah, this shit right here. Okay. It's one of the biggest criticisms from a lot of, like, Western, I think, like, designers and, like, project builders and stuff like that, is that basically all the plans and concept arts are, like, just completely unrealistic and not doable, and that, like, it's like delusional. It's like a video game. Apparently, like, they even made the designs in, like, video game stuff. Like, it's not practically doable. So either it will look nothing like this, or they're just gonna fail at it, or they never planned to do it like this in the first place.
Provoked a lot of reactions, especially after drone footage of excavation work was revealed way back in October of 2022. But not much is known about the actual progress of the construction site.
Yep.
So how does it look
today? Very true.
According to the latest information, there's actually been a lot of work done on the line over the past year. In a recent exclusive interview from the project's executive director, it was revealed that construction of the vital infrastructure is estimated to be 20% complete. This includes important roads, offices, and logistic hubs necessary for future work on the site. These developments can all be seen on satellite images surrounding the entire project's length. And compared to images we've already shown from last year, there have been many substantial changes to these sites. The Neon Community 1, for example, now looks and functions like a complete city of its own, complete with hundreds of housing units, a school, a mosque, a post office, convenience stores, and a bus station.
Looks like my middle school.
The community even has its own branch.
Any of you guys from America remember those like middle school, elementary school, like just like rectangle classrooms? Because the city wouldn't fund like the building of a proper school.
Now almost completely trace the beginning of the foundations from end to end.
My middle school was nothing but those.
The coastal section known as the Hidden Marina is also well underway. Once completed, this section of the project would become the single largest marina in the entire world. It would be capable of hosting up to twice the size of even the world's largest cruise ship, the Wonder of the Seas. Currently,
yeah, I think a 2025 or 2040 timeline is way more realistic.
Project in the world.
And that really just, you know, it's dependent on if the government will continue to invest funds, because it will get more expensive. It will. There's no way.
Aside from the excavation that's been ongoing since last year, piling work has also commenced for the main structure. Over the past year, more than 4,500 individual piles have been installed in a section of the line known as Module 43. At its peak, more than 60 piles for the structure's foundation were installed on a daily basis. This figure is expected to increase even further as construction is set to ramp up over the next few months. Finally, the line's dedicated underground rail system, known as the Spine, has also received some major changes. As of June 2023, the overall scope of the entire system has significantly been reduced. For one, the total length of the underground tunneling to be done has been reduced by more than 30 kilometers. Additionally, the total number
if I was a betting man, and I'm not normally, I would say we're going to hear a lot more about the reductions of both the underground rail transport and the line as a whole. To be fair, even if they do like a third of its original size, it would still be pretty impressive.
Owned by the Saudi Public Investment Fund. This is Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund, which is directly controlled by the Crown Prince. At the moment, this $700 billion sum remains the primary driver behind the constant progress. Current contracts with other companies...
It was so dumb. They put like, I think a third or like half of the total investment fund into this project, which... It's the sort of things it should fund, it's just not a wise investment.
Meanwhile, the state-owned construction company Power China is responsible for the current piling work being done on the marina. Finally, Italian constructor WeBuild and Saudi's own Sajco have recently been awarded the contract to build a high-speed rail line that would connect the line to Oxagon. But despite all this recent and pretty significant progress, there's still many justified criticisms against the project. For one, the inherent irony with the project's promise of sustainability. One expert from the University of New South Wales estimated that the construction of the entire city would have a total carbon footprint of as much as 1.8 gigatons of CO2. To put this into perspective, this figure alone is equivalent to more than 4 times the
Maybe
annual
Mohammed bin
emissions
Salman's
of the
doing this so he can
entire
use it when he takes
Kingdom.
power.
It's just
Mohammed bin
not
Salman
safe to
already
stand
completely
tall
runs Saudi
and
Arabia,
sit
Charles.
vertically on this
Undisputedly.
scale. Also, there are serious concerns about human rights as well. Many experts say that residents were forced to leave their villages to make way for the construction site.
Like, his father's still
According
alive,
to
but
the
he's in
United
very poor
Nations
health.
Human
Like,
Rights
Salman
Office,
runs
some of the
everything.
protesters were sentenced to long prison terms, and 3 even face imminent risk of execution because they were sentenced to death. This has definitely become a hot topic that will also affect the project itself. We will now take a look at progress on the next major development, which is Trohina, an insane luxury outdoor winter and skiing destination in the middle of a vast mountainous desert.
Fuck. I mean, if they pull it off, that'd be pretty cool.
Other projects in Neom, one thing sets it completely apart from the others.
And think about, like, the
Saudi Arabia
cost
actually has to
reduction in,
completely
like,
finish
Star Wars
building
movie
it in
production when they can just go to
6
places
years.
like this to film, you know?
The upcoming Asian Winter Games in 2029. After a successful bid just last year, the kingdom was awarded the rights to host the prestigious event. The project was first announced by the Crown Prince back in 2022, just a few months before the country's successful bid for the Winter Games. Located some 50 kilometers from the Red Sea coast, Trohina is situated within one of the country's highest mountain ranges. Ever since the project was first unveiled to the public, there has been some steady progress towards its construction. Over the past year, much of the work done on Trohina is the actual excavation process around the mountains to make way for its many developments. A total of 1.6 million cubic meters of material has already been excavated at the site for the creation of a giant man-made lake at the center of the project. Progress on an area known as the Vault is also well underway. This is Trohina's vertical village, which will be dug out from the surrounding mountains. According to the project's executive director, more than 1 million cubic tons
Winter
of
Olympics.
material have already
That was my
been
reaction to
excavated from the
Hastings.
mountains. Foundation work on the future ski village has also been in progress over
You
the
can
past
ski
year.
in that. I mean, come
This
on.
extends
It'd be a little
the plans for the
bumpy. You might need a
construction
couple
seem to be very
pairs,
well
you know,
underway.
maybe like a
And with
dozen pairs of
considerable
skis,
progress in
but
just the span of a year, Saudi Arabia seems to be committed to their very short 2029 timeline. But despite this commitment to their deadline, there are still a lot of questions that are left unanswered. One of the greatest criticisms against Trohina is the feasibility of maintaining a winter destination in such an environment. Although temperatures in the mountains can reach below freezing, snowfall is still a rare occurrence. To have enough snow for a functioning ski resort, this project would have to rely solely on artificial snow machines, which require a lot of water and electricity to operate. All of this starts to sound even more challenging when you add the fact that seawater all the way from the Red Sea will be used for it.
yeah,
Not
imagine
only
the
do they have to
price.
transport all this
Man, if
water
you think
over
like
distances
skiing
and
passes in the
elevation,
Sierras
they also
or the
have to
Rockies are
be
expensive, just
salvated
imagine
first.
somewhere like this. Gotta sell a
Now,
kidney to get in.
Let's get to Sindala, another major project within Neom that's currently under construction.
You said Sadala's already done, right?
It's Neom's luxury island resort destination off the city's coast. The island destination is well positioned by the Red Sea and is accessible either by boat, seaplane, or the nearby Neom Bay Airport. Sindala will be a world-class yachting destination, which features an 86-berth marina. The island will also be home to 3 luxury hotels, a golf course, and an array of luxury restaurants and retail outlets.
But, like, the problem with this is, right, like, obviously, Saudi Arabia, much like many oil states and many Arab states, right, it is completely an oligarchy, 100%, right? When you've got something like a sovereign wealth fund or, like, are investing in the future of your country to be sustainable, like, in a post-oil climate, right, you gotta provide jobs for regular people. You have to make your economy sustainable. So much of this project and so much of the, again, $1.5 trillion currently invested, it's all luxury shit, right? And that provides a lot of money. It does. Like, that will provide a lot of revenue. You know, it will technically increase the wealth of the country, But that's not the foundation you want to build for,
First
right?
announced
Like,
just in December of this
it's just
past
not.
year, this major project is expected to be the very first to open within Neon. Its developers plan to welcome the island's very first
Tourism is a
guests
very
as early as
useful source of
2024.
income, but it's never
The
going to be
success
a
of
sustainable
Sindala
base.
is actually very important to the rest of Neon, as its opening next year will mark the very first opportunity for the public to experience what this futuristic city is all about. Given its imminent opening date, construction on Sindala
No, I agree.
is
It's better than the
actually
military
well underway.
spending, but
Looking
well,
at
maybe
satellite
not
images
even
from
in
Google
some
Maps,
ways, right?
most
Because
of the island-
at least military spending provides, like, you know, more jobs and stuff like that if it's put in correctly. If you're just doing development of weapons and buying weapons and stuff, sure, that's a waste in some ways. But funding a larger military at least provides, like, pretty good paying jobs for regular people, right? China's military is absolutely massive. People going into that are not going to walk out of that rich, probably not even middle class, right? But they have a sustainable career that they can, you know, pay for services out of and then use to transition into, like, another job after. So, like, even military jobs, in some ways, in large numbers, are better than luxury shit like this, right? Because they
Roads
actually
currently
provide
being
something
built.
to the economy.
Roads have already been built, and the basic layout of the buildings and foundations have already been decided. Some structures around the island's marina even seem to be nearing completion.
Saudi Arabia doesn't have to worry about
Additionally,
it. They
much
are
of the grass
now
in
and
the
forever
playing golf
protected
course
by the
has
U.S.
also
military
already
due to our
been
oil
laid
interests.
out. Marriott International, which has already signed an agreement to open 3 luxury hotels in Sindala, is also confident that they will be able to finish construction in time for the 2024 opening. Meanwhile, to the island's northeast, an entire community dedicated to the project's development has also been set up.
Who the fuck is it?
This will
Vacationing
include
Saudi Arabia, though?
offices,
Not exactly the most
logistics
welcoming
hubs,
culture.
housing units, and
Well, to be fair, the
amenities
same
for
could be
people
said of
working
Dubai,
on
and it's
site.
pretty popular, right?
Out of all the major developments in Neon, Sindala seems to be the most developed one so far. We spent
In countries
a lot
like
of
that,
time
if you're
researching
rich,
for the latest
things like that
information
don't
and
really
also
apply to
editing
you,
this
you know?
very long video. So if you enjoy
Alright, I think it's done. So, anyway, pretty interesting. Again, if they pull it off, the amount of prestige that would give Saudi Arabia, and it would boost their economy, of course, would be pretty impressive. I don't think it's a good use of resources in almost any way, and I don't think they're going to even remotely get it on the timeline and budget that they want. So, how bloody expensive. 1.5 trillion currently invested by Mohammed bin Salman's government, and then the sovereign wealth fund that Saudi Arabia runs. So, it's a lot, and they're going to go way over budget. I don't know. Doesn't seem very wise. But it is pretty cool. And if they pull it off, it'll look pretty cool. Yay for corruption. A generous country? They do hire foreign companies for their projects. Yeah, which is good. You know, they've got very deep ties with the British and Americans, other European states. You're going to Dubai in October. What for, Curse? That's one city I have no desire to go to. It's very much, to me, has always seemed like I'm going to Dubai so I can say I've been to Dubai and post pictures on my Instagram, which, I don't know, for me isn't very interesting. Alright, we're going to condemn that. The cops have begun to treat us differently. Their opinion is now neutral. That's our Christian minority group there. Looks like this Egypt is not in budget, judging by that debt. We're not playing Egypt. We're just talking about their Neon project. We are playing Egypt, and we are very deep in debt. Trying to get out of our starting deficit has been absolutely brutal. Keep going for some of these now as well. Alright, we're up to semi-recent arms production, actually. 95, which is nice. We only have 5 mils at the moment, though, so we're not pumping out too many. But we are updating our arms forces a little bit. Alright, let's see if we can get a bailout as well again. I think the Japanese still can give us one. Germany can give us one. Wow. Yeah, sure. 200 billion bailout. We'll go for that. That'll hurt, but it's fine. We gotta try and keep that debt around 1 trillion. And then I'm gonna see if I can hit for our domestic independence again here as well. Combat foreign influence, and then we're going to hit the influence of the U.S. again. It's up to 60%. We're really kind of walking a tightrope right now in terms of development, right? Like, our economy is growing, we're getting more civs, but our debt is just still so freaking high. Now we're kind of selling our soul to get there. But, if we pull it off, we're going to be chilling. And then let's hit the slums again, too. do slums in Alexandria. Fuck. We've got 9 more. Okay. How's it going, Lollipop? What's up? The Red Sea, Arabia is in Asia? I'm confused, Chaco Neo. Red Sea's right here, and then Saudi Arabia's right here. A debtor state. Yeah, just a little bit. It's worth, alright? We're developing the economy. It's worth. I thought we had a 200 billion bailout. That only looks like 100, unless we've just accrued so much already. Which is very possible. Who knows? At least 50% graduated Egyptian works in Saudi, and a bunch of lower eco works do work there to build things. And most of the profit goes to American companies like Bechtel. Huh. Interesting. Is it just because they are the ones that have, like, the resources for projects like this, or because it's, like, the, you know, very close relationship we have with them? National Telecommunications Regulatory Authority. The NTRA is the Egyptian government-approved regulatory and compensation authority that is proposed to be established in accordance with the Egyptian telecommunication regulation law as the national authority equipped to regulate and administer telecommunications. A lot of buzzwords in that one. We get office sector tax revenue, which is what I really want. And we're trying to get down to those office sectors, which would really help the economy if we can get them. When we get rid of all the slums as well, we're going to get rid of that 3 billion a tick deficit we're running as well. Ugh. Just kind of got to keep that low here. I think our government's probably gotten very used to being in the IMF offices. Go for that fossil fuel gain again. We are really struggling here to keep a surplus with all of the new buildings we have. Some of the focused developments have increased curse, but a lot of them still are just really generic. We're gonna reach IRL Egypt situation faster than IRL Egypt. Listen, trust the process, alright? I kinda know what I'm doing with Millennium Dawn. The plan for Egypt is just Western development, for the moment at least. I'm gonna let you guys do, like, I'm gonna do polls for elections when we get them. I think I'll start them in 2004, and then we'll just see where we go off of that. But to start off with, I'm playing a fairly historical Mubarak development in Egypt. And then just the giant debt crisis. We can default on the debt, yeah, but that fucks us so hard in this game. Field engineers need skills like English and Arabic, even for Asian EPC companies and also EU and Americans. I may be wrong, but I heard that US develops Egypt serving as a bribe. How do you mean, Nico? If you disband the army, you can get out of the debt. Yeah, but that makes no sense with Mubarak. The military, like, runs the government. We are basically propped up by the military. If we try and reduce it in any way, we're going to face probably a coup. So there's no way we would do something like that. If anything, we kind of technically have to be, like, putting more money into it as we go. Interesting. I didn't know that, Baron. Cool, our literacy rate actually increased. God, look at that interest. Killer. We probably should develop our gold as well. I do like countries like this the most, honestly, where you're just in a horrible position. It's almost like a puzzle. Or at least more interesting to try and get out of your situation. A little rough for us. Grand Campaign 2 preparations are going very well. I've read a few books on subject that I wanted to read. I've gotten through most of what I wanted to read for it. I've got the mod list ready to go, essentially. So I'm just waiting again for Roads of Power and for the DLC to update. So, pretty good. Arab Cable Manufacturers. How can anyone even doubt the quality of cables made by Arab Cable Manufacturers Association? It is TH best, and we shall deliver. Again, this is the one I want. We're trying to get to that right now. In Millennium Dawn, much like real life, the more you expand your economy in relation to your debt, like, the better interest rates you can get and things like that. So we're trying to outscale here. It's tough, though. I think we have some focuses that give us more energy producing things. Yeah. We can go with solar farms. Whoa, that's a good bonus. State renewable power generation factor 25%. That will give us minus 5% to max factories, though. We probably do need to go down that route next. The oil alone is just not doing it for us. A lot of good options. The tractor in the economy menu? For what specifically, Curse? Mengitsu? Yeah, Mengitsu's back in Ethiopia. Horrible, horrible man. Should be, like, in The Hague right now. Mutual investment pact with Peru. We'll accept that as well. More of those we get, the better. Funny enough, the dynasty I made for that is located in Arabia, and they're gonna immediately die out, but whatever. A lot of them will, Treco Nero, but I think a few will make it pretty far. Can you liquidate some government assets or privatize? I don't believe so. There's not really an option for that in this game, and I don't think we really have much to do that with to start. Maybe there's something in our focus tree, but I haven't seen it. The big thing that we need again is we gotta get rid of the slums, but it's expensive and we still have 9 more. 8 after this one. I can't think of really any other way to generate income. I mean, we could cut welfare more. That is an option. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll go down to minimal subsistence subsidies. There's no social safety net. You're fucked if you're poor here. So we're at minus 6 billion a tick. Again, when we get rid of the slums, that will be minus 3. And then after that, we just really gotta scale, I guess, and maybe do another bailout or 2. I think by the time we do one more bailout with the US and with the Japanese or Germans, and then maybe do an IMF bailout, we get rid of the slums, we grow our economy a bit, then I think we can get into the green and start to pay off the debt and get rid of that interest. 16% interest rate, Jesus Christ. That is unfortunate. What does the tractor do? Oh, those are agricultural, commercialized agricultural districts. It's unique, I believe, to Africa in the game, where it's just, you basically can employ lots of people working in the agricultural industry. It produced, like, almost no money. Apparently, you actually do get fuel gain. Didn't know that. Whoa. That's interesting. Fuel gain from states, 10. But I think that's just fuel gain, right? Yeah. Almost negligible. There's a system if you play African and low literacy countries in Millennium Dawn, I'll show you. Agricultural system. So, basically a lot of our economy is based off of agriculture and a lot of our income. Just because we're so undeveloped and our literacy rate's so low. If we get our literacy rate up high enough, this will just be removed, I believe, entirely. So, liberate Libya. No, we have a very good relationship with Gaddafi in 2003. We're like the 2 really big proponents for expanding the African Union, so we have I think no interest in doing that. I really would love to cut the military, but I can't justify it. Anything else we can cut here? Not really. Oh, broken economy did go down. We removed enough slums, we did get rid of a little bit of it, which is quite nice. Alright, then Orscom Construct. Orscom Construction PLC is a leading global engineering and construction contractor, primarily focused on infrastructure, industrial, and high-end commercial projects in the Middle East, Africa, and the United States. We get 2 office complexes, and we get a fossil fuel power plant. It's going to cost $24 billion, though. But office complexes are the biggest source of GDP and income in Millennium Dawn, so we want those. We actually already do have 11. Pretty nice. The war's not over yet. Did our attaché? Oh no, they didn't accept it. All right, I'll improve relations with Sudan, and then we're gonna send an attaché. Get a little bit of XP. Be nice. We'll keep combating foreign influence too. If we can get up to regional power, that would be pretty nice. So we can do some of our African Union focuses if we do that. Because currently, due to our domestic influence issues, we are, I believe, just like a local power. Where's that icon? Yeah, minor power. Oh, there it is. So Clinton's doing the Iraq War. Holy shit. President Bill Clinton delivered a live address shortly after explosions rocked the Iraqi capital of Baghdad, signaling the launch of Operation Iraqi Freedom. The U.S.-led campaign aims at ridding Iraq of its dictator Saddam Hussein and eliminating its ability to store, develop, and deploy its stockpile of weapons of mass destruction. The strike comes just days after Iraqi President Saddam Hussein defied a 48-hour deadline to leave the country. In response to the military invasion, the Republic of Iraq radio in Baghdad said, "The evil ones, the enemies of God, the homeland and humanity have committed this stupid aggression against our homeland and people." Meanwhile, U.S. military sources have said that 5 key members of the Iraqi regime, including Saddam Hussein, were targeted in the first attacks. There we go. Shit. That's a good question. I don't know how Bill Clinton won re-election. We'll just go if America got rid of term limits, so expanded them to 3 or 4 terms. He'll get ousted in the next election, I think. Alrighty, I need to go to the bathroom, so I'm going to give you guys a poll while I am gone to decide on here. Bear with me. What are we going to do with the war in Iraq, ladies and gentlemen? You are all military and political advisors of Hosni Mubarak, and you will be deciding what we're going to do. Keep in mind, we currently do have a very good relationship with America in the West. We've kind of been dependent on them for both growth, for our automobile industry, for our telecommunications industry, and of course, just, you know, in general for our military. We're a NATO, what is it? A NATO cooperative member or something like that. But we're also a member of the Arab Union. We are seen and like to be seen as like one of the leaders of like the Arab region. So this is kind of a real tough one for us. Do we want to balance relations between the Arab world and America? Do we want to go more with America and support them in the Iraq war? Or do we want to outright condemn the U.S. and destroy our relationship with them at the expense of kind of being seen as a champion of the Arab people? So, all right, I'll give a poll real quick. There we go. I'll throw that pull up and I will be right back. Alrighty. Looking like we are probably going to just stay out of things from the looks of it. 7 for the US, 12 for staying out of it, and 1 for condemning the US. I might make this interesting. If we don't side with the US, I'm not going to allow us to get any bailouts from the Americans. Consequence of going against their interests. Thank you to follow. Casares. Love the stream and play MD often. Hell yeah. That's a great mod. I think the next one I will do, I don't know when it will be, sometime probably the next couple months. I will do a US playthrough. I've been wanting to do that as well. Their tree's gotten a lot of, it was reworked completely, and then it's had some more expansions done to it, which are pretty cool. It's a lot of fun now. Gigantic focus tree. My gosh. It'd be fun to do sometime. Try to get America out of the debt. Well, under Clinton it wasn't too bad actually, but why is Clinton still in office? Millennium Dawn. Millennium Dawn. We'll go with it just being, I guess America allows 3 terms now or something. I don't know. But 8 trillion in deficit. That's really not that bad though for the Americans compared to what we have now. What's the US debt right now? I want to say like 30 trillion US debt. It's so bad. 35 trillion in debt. God, every time I look at this, it's depressing. Holy shit, how about Biden dropping out of the race, folks? I won't take us too deep into a political discussion right now, but that was wild. That was freaking wild. I didn't think Joe Biden had it in him to drop out of the election, but he did. And look at that, America just, whew, steaming through Iraq. Look at that, my God. Accurate. Oof. No, Iraq's not looking good. Bill Clinton was very inspired by FDR. Was he? Was he? Cheating on his wife part? Yeah. Iraqi forces scatter. The American military brought total destruction upon the Iraqi army, completely wiping it out in combat and disbanding what remains from its force. Under the Coalition Provisional Authority Order 2, the military security intelligence infrastructure of Saddam Hussein has been disbanded. A provisional government has ascended to power in Iraq. A new constitution is in the midst of being drafted. Unfortunately, this order has not gone to plan. Many former soldiers of the Iraqi army are putting up resistance in pockets around cities, some even joining extremist groups. Militias have already been popping up all around the nation, funded heavily by the Saudis and the Iranians, which in our timeline's a little complicated given that they went with a different government that had a civil war already. There's a long, long list of just dramatic fuck-ups in the Iraq war America did. It's a long, 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 long list, right? But one of the most wild ones was what the U.S. did with the Iraqi military after it won the war, right? Like, Iraq had a pretty big military. It was completely overwhelmed by America, but it was significant. It provided a lot of jobs and, you know, well-trained people with guns, right? When Baghdad fell and America set up the provincial government in Iraq, they just told all the soldiers essentially to fuck off. They didn't give them new jobs. They didn't make them a part of the new administration. They did nothing at all. They didn't even take away their guns, mostly, right? So the Iraqi military, with their equipment, went off into the night essentially. And we did nothing to try and contain that, to try and bring them into like the new Iraqi government. So a huge amount of those resistance forces that America dealt with in post-war Iraq were really like America's own making. Again, just one in a long list of fuck-ups, but wild all the same. Ugh, the Iraq War. Mistake after mistake after mistake. Okay, we have gotten those office complexes. We've gone all the way up with our telecommunications. It's domestically run too, which is very nice. gotta find more ways to grow the economy. We gotta find more ways to maybe deal with the energy deficit, but there's not a lot of options for us here. All right, we're gonna stay out of it. So Mubarak will have probably put out a public statement saying that, you know, America's invasion of Iraq would be an invasion of sovereign rights of a nation, but Egypt understands why it needs to happen and wants to work a little bit with just like stabilizing the region with the Americans, as well as representing the Iraqi people and like Arab states. So we're kind of trying to thread that line between the West and the Arab nations. Kind of gonna probably piss off everyone more than anything else, and I will not allow us to get any more debt bailouts by America. So we can do other countries, but we can't do America anymore, which is really gonna hurt us because we need it. Holy fuck, we need it. So we will not take either of these. Oh, I'm not sure right now. This is tough. I think we gotta go with the energy. It'll be expensive, but we gotta do. Egyptian energetics. Egypt possesses an abundance of land, sunny weather, and high wind speeds, making it a prime location for renewable energy projects. The renewable energy equipment market is potentially worth billions of dollars. The Egyptian government is cognizant of the need for a sustainable energy mix to both address increasing demand and to move to more environmental, sustainable, and diverse energy sectors. So we'll get a little bit of nice bonuses, we'll get stability, and then we'll go into what will grant us a bunch of energy producing plants, which we really need. That energy deficit right now is awful. We're only sustaining it due to massive oil imports, which are just really kind of fucking us here. And let's remove another slum when we can too. We got to get rid of these. Our Syrian policy is conciliation and just cooperation, but we're not very close with, it's Bushra, by the way, Bushra al-Assad. Well, prior to her father's death, Hafez al-Assad, she was actually, like, met a bunch with Mubarak, so I don't want to say we'd be close, but we cooperate pretty heavily with them, to be sure. Probably one of our bigger trading partners in, like, the Arab region, besides Saudi Arabia. But it did go with Bushra, which is interesting. Iraq's new leader? That's an American, Jay Garner. That's who the U.S. put in charge of the post-invasion Iraqi government. I think it was Jay Gardner in real life, too. Super incompetent. Here he is. Why is this page in Swedish? Yeah. J. Montgomery Gardner is an American former Army officer as head of the Office of Reconstruction and Humanitarian Assistance. He was the U.S. administrator in Iraq for 1 month after 2003's Iraq War. Yeah. But knowing Millennium Dawn, he'll be in charge for, like, 10 years. Another slum. Keep that going. Only almost 30 years of mistakes just from the Gulf War alone. Yeah, it's one thing after another. Do we support Côte d'Ivoire? I would imagine we have really no stake in the game there. Côte d'Ivoire. Let's see if I remember my African geography even remotely. Isn't it Western Africa? My American is showing. But I could have sworn it was somewhere over here. Perhaps. I mean, the African Union hasn't really developed quite dramatically, and then with, like, Western Africa's unique because they kind of have their own system. I want to say ECOWAS, isn't it? Or is that a UN body? No, it is ECOWAS. Economic Community of West African States, which kind of heavy French influence, to be sure. And kind of, like, acts more independent of the African Union, especially in this period. Yeah. ECOWAS is a regional political and economic union of 15 countries located in Western Africa. Considered one of the pillar regional blocks of the continent-wide African Economic Community. Most of those states kind of organize more heavily through that than the African Union, especially right now. There's an Iraqi on YouTube that said that U.S. troops in current Iraq serve as a metaphorical gun to the head of the government of Iraq. You mean even to this day with like our military bases there, or how do you mean? Nice. We knocked out another Muslim Brotherhood cell. Okay, what do we need for Russian? Okay. We only need one here though, so we'll go for this one. Solar power investments. Our land is full of empty land illuminated by sun. Previously it was our curse, but now it is our blessing. We get a bunch of solar farms, and we get 2 renewable energy infrastructure as well, which... Okay, yeah, so just lots of solar plants essentially. It's not as productive compared to like fossil fuel plants for generating resources, but we don't also need oil to use it, which is very nice. This will help a little bit. Huh. I know that America still is very active in Iraq, but I didn't know that it was that extreme. Who is the current president of Iraq? Abdul Latif Rashid is the president, and Mohammed Shia al-Sudani is the prime minister. Iraqi British politician. Oh man. He was previously Minister of Water Resources. Still not very stable. Still not a lot of... Just generally a lot of poverty. Very similar to Iran in that way. Except they're not completely cut off from the world. Okay. Working on the slums. Let's hit our domestic independence again. That's just another one of those buttons you kind of got to click if you're in a situation like we are. Are we only limited to a bailout from the IMF? That's going to fuck us pretty hard. Okay. They're going to basically ask for a bunch of our factories and stuff like that. It's way better if you can do it to get bailouts from countries in Millennium Dawn rather than the IMF. Because they will fuck you. They will fuck you pretty hard. And I'm an attack influenced by Germany as well. The gun they hold to the heads is the ability to sanction their oil profits. And probably block the port in the Gulf, right, I'd imagine? Because I think... Doesn't almost all of the oil produced in Iraq get exported via the Gulf? Is there a pipeline going to Turkey from Iraq? Does anyone know? I'm gonna look it up, I'm curious now. Iraqi oil pipelines. Yeah, there is one going out of Iraq through Jordan and Israel to the port of Haifa in Israel. So they can export the oil that way too. But it has to go through Israel and Jordan, which are both very close with the US, right? So if they sanction the oil, that pipeline will be cut off as well. Huh. Maybe we can appease the US someday so we can get the bailout. Yeah, we can definitely do some stuff later. We've got some focuses in the Mubarak focus tree to like basically just work heavily with our intelligence services. If we do those, I think it'd be fine to get a bailout from the US. But we'll have to work to try and get that relationship back right now. Cool. Got our solar plants. Electrification for everyone. We must put our governmental effort into sustaining electricity for everybody in the country. Wonderful. Did that do much there? Aung San Suu Kyi released. That doesn't look like him. No, there we go. It took out one. As I said before, fossil fuel plants are just way better. They give you way more energy. No, we're not doing corruption. African Union Summit of 2004. In this year's African Union Summit, the Assembly discussed science, technology, and scientific research. The Assembly emphasized how important these areas are for the continent. In order for Africa to stay competitive in other regions, the continent must become a center of technological innovation. Gives us a health cost multiplier reduction and an increase to research speed. Very nice. Very needed with our negatives here. Turkey has a plan to integrate Iraq and Turkey's economy as an alternative to the Suez. Yeah, I'd heard that there was talks of an Iraqi-Turkey oil line, but I guess it hasn't been built yet. Mage, like, what's the... Also, wonderful to see you, Mage. I hope you're doing very well. Thank you very much. You sent a link. Beautiful. I am going to read this really briefly because this looks interesting. Ambitious plans to build an Iraq-Turkey railway. Oh, it's a railway, not an oil line. Or is it both? The project is for a 1,200 kilometer long road rail corridor, which you can ship on trains to be fair, it's just less efficient. Valued at $17 billion by the Iraqi government as an early stage. According to Baghdad authorities, the road and railway will have to be built in cooperation with other countries in the region, such as Qatar, the UAE, Kuwait, all the usual suspects, and is presented as a development road. Kind of similar to like what China was doing with their Belt and Road, I'd imagine then. We see the sustainable project as a pillar of an economy that will not rely on oil. It is a link that will serve Iraq's neighbors and the region and contribute to economic integration, where the Persian Gulf plays a major role in global shipping. Interesting. So it's not a pipeline, it's just rail network and then roads, infrastructure, things like that. Okay. Huh. Oh, here it is. Whatever. Thank you, Mage. Iraq exports most of its oil through Turkey. Okay, I was right. The Kirkuk-Sayan oil pipeline, also known as the Iraq-Turkey crude oil pipeline, is a 600-mile long pipeline that runs from Kirkuk in Iraq to Sayan in Turkey. I'm pronouncing this wrong. It's not on purpose. It is Iraq's largest crude oil export line. When was it built? In 70. Okay, wow, it's old then. Goes to the port of Sayan. Sabotage attempt. Oh, that was during ISIS. No, it wasn't an ISIS. The Kurdistan Regional Government of Iraq completed a pipeline from the Tak oil field, the Turkey-Iraq border, where it is connected to the pipeline as well. Okay, interesting. The other one I was looking at was the Kirkuk Haifa oil pipeline. It goes through Jordan and Israel. Huh. Interesting. Can you use the African Union to invest in the Great Green Wall? I actually don't know. Let's look. The Great Green Wall is a project to basically stop the encroachment of the Saharan Desert, which deserts tend to grow. And it's like a project to build like a bunch of trees and like almost like a wall to stop like the desert from expanding. I don't know if there is one for that. Let me look. African Monetary Union, African Investment Bank, Free Trade Area, Coastline, Diseases, Defense Council, African Space Agency, fucking based. I don't see anything about it. No. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, sure. What's up, Lollipop? Turkey had a deal with the UK to share the northern Iraqi oil profits before World War II. Interesting. Only 7 slums to go. We're getting there. Millennium Dawn, Norway is the only nation I know of that has the first auto research gun. It is a bolt action rifle Krag Jorgensen. First auto research gun. What do you mean by auto research gun? As in, like the most modern in the tech tree, or what do you mean? Auto research gun. Speaking of interesting weapons, did any of you guys see, like, the news report about, like, the American military's, like, laser, like, anti-air defense systems that they've been working on? Pretty interesting. The Maoists were crushed in Nepal. Their civil war is over then. And it is going to be the Nepali Congress in charge. The royal family was assassinated as well, so they are a democracy. Qatar Petroleum IPO, the long-awaited initial public offering of Qatar State's lucrative oil company, has been officially announced by the Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani. The success of this risky enterprise remains to be seen, with some analysis forecasting limited investor interest in this IPO. The Qatar government has dismissed these predictions and has sought to maintain confidence in the time of uncertainty. Okay. Whoa, exporting fertilizers. I don't know how good this is because it gives you decisions for it, which is interesting. We need more income options though, so I will go for that. But I kind of throw a bit of a Hail Mary here. Napi Pharma. The Napi Pharma Group continues its expansion with solid steps, following the same clear vision to provide the Egyptian market with high-quality products that are within the patient's reach, dealing with the common diseases prevalent in the country. Gives us trade relations too, which that mechanic doesn't work very well, but could potentially result in more exports. We don't produce a lot to begin with though. 7 light metals, 29 iron, or sorry, steel I think. Yeah, and then 64 oil, which is not being bought very much. Somalia, Morocco is actually importing a lot, and then Guinea. And then Saudi Arabia is actually importing some of our steel. Interesting. Oh my god, that dead interest. Jesus Christ. We'll reduce some of the slums in the Nile. That's a little cheaper. We get a Spanish bailout? That's an odd one. We'll improve relations a little bit and try and get a bailout from the Spanish. The EU just controls, like, all of our debt right now. Infantry equipment in the research for infantry equipment. Ah, I got you. That's interesting. Yeah, we're going to do elections in late 2004. I'll throw those on. It's predicted the Sahara Desert will turn green eventually, but it will take thousands of years, but it will be green only for a few centuries at most. Just due to, like, climate changes, Nico? Huh. Did not know that. Yeah, we need to get that interest rate down. Alright, I'm gonna ask for a bailout as soon as we hit, like, 60 opinion with them. And then let's see if we can get more domestic independence here. We'll attack America's influence on us. Well, it gets down to around 33. Which I still think is probably not enough to give us regional power. Nope, still minor. Unfortunate. Spanish bailout, and they give us a bailout. Wonderful. It's a huge chunk of the debt gone. Our interest rate has gone down to 14% again. We're getting there, folks. I know it looks bad, and it is very bad. Don't get me wrong, but we're in a better place than it looks like. I promise. Trust the process. We can never bail out from the Japanese. Let's increase our relationship with them again. When we can. 38 civs total. and then 13 office complexes. We're getting more cits from trade. That's the difference. Let's see if we can sell anything on the international market as well in a moment here. I've been making convoys for that purpose. Kind of, you know, works as like manufacturing giant shipping vessels and selling them. All right, Evergrow Evergreen Fertilizers. Evergrow is a leading company in the manufacturing and marketing of specialized fertilizers in Egypt and the Middle East. We must start the export of these fertilizers to gain some income. What's it called? Evergreen? Evergreen Fertilizers. If it's the same one, it's sold in Home Depot, apparently. Company. Can't find anything about it. It's Evergrow Evergreen. Fertilizers. Evergrow. Hey, it's Egyptian, yeah. Okay. Interesting. They export fertilizers, copper sulfate, calcium chloride, and various acids. No Wikipedia page, though. Interesting. Don't worry, the big banks won't fail because they're not supposed to. They can't. It is economically impossible. Banks are eternal. They'll be here after civilization has fallen. Yeah, protest strength is growing. Thank you. You're right about that. The reason is we're not spending enough on social security and healthcare. Problem is we literally cannot afford it. So that is going to make the Arab Spring worse, which I'm fine with. We'll see what happens. We're almost at $1 trillion GDP though, which is nice. Exactly. Banks are eternal. They're just going to move into like black holes. Banks run by AI will still be here most likely. Yeah, true. I think that's an interesting thing we are gonna... I'm gonna read this in a second. I think that's an interesting thing we will see in our lifetime is a lot of like economic instruments and like economic entities will transition to being run by AI as opposed to people. I mean, a lot of them already are. It's just like a very like simple version. But like as the economy like becomes more dependent and more like ran by automated systems like that, it could provide a lot of stability if done correctly, but it will be interesting to see how that works out, I think. Transitional federal government formed. The transitional national government and her formation have seen a new leaf turn over in Somalia. The instability and infighting have subsided as the government continued to solidify its hold. The TNG mandate, which expired last year, has started to pave the way for the formation of a new transitional federal government. Although fraught with challenges from the inability to purchase staple goods to more active challenges in the government's authority, the transitional national government has succeeded against the odds, headed by the prominent members of the TNG. The TFG has formed in its stead, becoming the new federal government of the Republic of Somalia. Nice. Still at war, though. I don't know. That doesn't look much more stable to me, but you never know. Better put a cent in your bank account and cryogenically freeze yourself and become a billionaire in 1,000 years. Yeah, unless you get like that Next Generation Star Trek episode, you know? Anyone seen that episode of Star Trek when like they find those like floating cryogenic pods in space with like humans from like our time period, and that one guy is like, "I'm rich as fuck. Where's my money?" And Picard's like, "Yeah, it's not how things work, bud. Sorry." That'd be nice. I mean, we are probably going to go more to the cyberpunk style universe, so you probably would be a billionaire, but there's always a chance. Can Hosni remove corruption in the military if they like him enough? We could. I'm not going to do that personally unless like we can have some serious protest demands and stuff like that. I'm going to run things kind of like historically right. We're going to stay very corrupt and things like that unless there's a major incentive for us to change things. We're very happy with the current state of Egypt. Our people, not so much. But, you know, until they're, like, protesting at our door, that doesn't matter to us very much. Unfortunately, we aren't getting the Star Trek utopia. We get the cyberpunk dystopia. Yeah, true. Yeah, true. You right. I, for one, cannot wait for our AI overlords and the major corporations that will control my daily life. I'm looking forward to it. Just want to have that on record there in the future. Algeria's gone red. It's the FLN. The autocrats, they're not red. Not quite yet. Dude, this guy's got the coolest looking jacket. Every time I look at his profile picture, I'm like, I wonder where he got that jacket. Carfield. Gonna look around Africa a little bit here. All the usual faces. The Congolese Civil War, which will not end. I mean, you could play to 2050 in Millennium Dawn, and that war will still be going. I think I will hit Bank Bazir now. We've got enough civs. We'll get that for 3 years. Bank Bazir is an Egyptian bank co-founded by industrialist Jofid Aslan, I'm going to just say Pasha, and economist Talat Harb Pasha in 1920. The government of the United Arab Republic nationalized the bank in 1960. The bank has branch offices in all of Egypt's governance and currency exchange and work permit offices for foreign workers in Egypt. For around 3 years, we will get more tax revenue, which will help with our deficit. We'll get more resources to market, and then we are going to get more opinion with small and medium businesses, which are giving us some pretty nice bonuses right now. Good to see. Tunisian Dracula. Fuck. I mean, he does look a bit like a vampire, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, a little bit. Those eyebrows in particular. You're right. That's funny. He came out of his tomb when they were doing excavations of, like, the old Carthaginian ruins. And, learned the language, got into politics. It's gone very well for him. He's adapted quite well to the modern age. Still hates Italy, though. Oh, cool, here it is. Evergrow, the leading Egyptian fertilizer company, proudly introduced its latest innovation, Evergreen, poised to revolutionize the... Let's get this song. Too much singing. Evergreen, a cutting-edge fertilizer blend harnessing advanced nutrient technology to optimize crop yield and enhance soil growth. With a commitment to sustainable agriculture, Evergreen ensures that every granule of Evergreen embodies precision and eco-friendly practices. I think the writer copied this off of their page. This sounds like marketing. Leveraging Egypt's agricultural expertise, Evergreen is now set to enrich global farmlands as the company confidently expands its footprint through strategic exports, providing farmers worldwide with a powerful solution of cultivated, healthier, and more resilient crops. Bush has won the election, ladies and gentlemen. George W. Bush has taken power in 2004. Okay. The income gained from trade is determined by the number of contracts you have signed multiplied by 10%. Okay. We can have it to 3 right now, and we can go up all the way to 7. Probably Saudi Arabia, I'd say. Yeah. We'll start with Saudi Arabia. Then maybe Turkey, and then... I mean, Israel would be the most lucrative, I'd imagine, but I don't know if we want to do that. A little problematic for us, politically. Do I stream HOI4 a lot? A fair bit, yeah. I switch around with a lot of the Paradox games. I do grand campaigns a lot as well. I just finished my most recent one, which took like, a year or two. And then I'm starting a new one pretty soon. That's where you play through CK3, EU4, Victoria, Hearts of Iron, and Stellaris. I probably stream HOI4 technically the most out of any game, but I do switch it around. I don't like to just play one game. I get really bored, so it does switch around. He's a Bruja Methasula. What's that, Trucker Nero? Russia didn't take care of the Chechens in the Northern Caucasus. Didn't they? No, they didn't. They're in Russia's faction, and they're a client state, but they are technically independent at the moment. You guys ever seen videos of like Chechen soldiers fighting Russians like in that war? Like the tactics they use and like buildings and stuff with missile launchers to stop like Russian tank, the tank horse. It's fucking wild, dude. Conclusion. Yeah, so the character we're gonna start in the grand campaign is like one of like the inspirations for Arthur, Arturius Ambrosius. I'm not gonna just straight up play him like King Arthur, but we'll kind of use that as a theme as we go. It'll be kind of more like Roman culture for him, and then dealing with like the fall of the Roman Empire to start. So it'll be an interesting campaign, I think. Vampire Masquerade. I've never played that, like the role-playing game for it. Or there's video games too, right? I don't think I've played those either. Geopolitical Simulator? Nah, I've looked at it. It's just, it doesn't look very fun to me. The graphics aren't very good, the mechanics look very surface level, and it just overall doesn't look fantastic. Is it worth trying, Gray? Have you played it? I don't know, I'm very picky with games these days, compared to the past. I would play any geopolitical game when I was younger, but now I'm like, eh. Alright. See what our options are for the debt again here. No one we can get a debt bailout from at the moment. That's unfortunate. Let's do a trade mission to... We'll do Turkey. They're pretty wealthy. That'd be a good one to work with. Combat foreign influence again. Edgytech. Edgytech Company was established as an electronic researcher in Egypt, serving a large group of customers and the most specialized in computer field research. Office sector and fossil fuel power plant. Very nice. Graphics suck ass, but it's fun. I'll take a look at it then. Just didn't look that appealing. Suzerain's an incredible game. I've said before I'm going to stream it. I never did, and I will at some point. It's a lot of fun. That's probably one of my most favorite like political games I played in a long time was Suzerain. If you haven't played it, check it out. It's so much fun. It's like an RPG / strategy game. The new Ritzia DLC is amazing too. Except my wife cooed my ass! When I played the Ritzia DLC when it came out, I went down like the, like very middle of the road capitalist reformer kind of path for the royal family. And I ended up marrying like the, who was it? Like the military woman, like from the military family. And then when I told her that I was gonna let my daughter take power after me after I had a kid with her, she cooed my ass and I got murdered in the royal palace. Fucking rough. Rough, dude. Rough ending. I have no regrets. Yeah, we have very outdated technology. It's gotten better, though. A little bit. We're gonna have to build more fossil fuel plants, I think. I'd like to do nuclear energy. The problem is, I don't know how that would go with the West. And I don't think, given the recent Iraq war, it would be wise to attempt to pursue any sort of nuclear research. So where's this income coming from then, for the exports? Income gain for trade is determined by the number of contracts multiplied by 10%. Huh. Okay. We'll do one with Israel. Ooh, stock market boom. Wonderful. We got into a boom again. That'll help us a little bit economically here. Elections are due soon. Could we place army units around key points of the nation just in case of protesting? I mean, look at our military concentration right now, Charles. I'd say we're pretty occupied at the moment. You know? But yeah. I will do elections as well. We'll do it. It's 2005. We'll open them up. Kind of, since we're going more Western aligned, I'm sure a lot of like further like deals with the West would be dependent on at least attempting to move a little bit more democratically, so the West doesn't have to like pretend they're not working with us. So we'll open up elections, but with a heavy asterisk, right? Like, we'll have elections, but they're gonna be not the most legitimate. Let's see, where do I do that? There's a screen for that. There we go. Allow democracy in elections in Egypt. We will open up for our first elections. Okay. He's been in power since before 95. That's not true. 81, I think. Yeah, 81 was when he took power. So right now, the major parties that have the most support in our country are the National Democratic Party, which is Mubarak's party, Freedom and Justice Party, Egyptian Islamist political party. It is normally independent, but has strong links to the Muslim Brotherhood, so we would not like it. The Egyptian Armed Forces, which are technically an independent entity, but would be supporting the NDP pretty strongly. The Tanzim al-Jihad, which is an Islamic jihad organization, and then the Workers' Democratic Party with 15%. There's been actually some pretty heavy history in Egypt of like communism and communist organizations. So our next election's in 2011. No. Okay, it's right now. Who do we want to attack domestically? Or do we want to attack anyone? We'll attack the Salafist groups. We're going to come out swinging. And I'll do a poll for who you guys want to vote for. And then I will affect our, basically, party support based on those elections, but it's not going to be just universal. I'll kind of tilt it a little bit. Because I know how polls go when I do political elections. Y'all choose some absolutely wild shit. I'm thinking mainly of Stellaris in the Grand Campaign. Yeah, that's why we're hitting the Salafists politically. I have played Israel before, yeah. Do they have a focus tree now? I know they added one and then they got rid of it. Well, there we go. Well, all the votes counted. Shockingly, the Egyptian voters have decided to give Mubarak and the NDP another term. Wonderful. But I will let you guys do a little poll and I'll tilt the popularity based on that. So let me throw up a poll real quick here. And I'm going to go to the bathroom again while I do that. If my Twitch will let me here. Okay, Workers' Democratic Party. Got Freedom and Justice. And the Egyptian Armed Forces. Okay. I'll throw that poll up. You all get to vote. You're all citizens of Egypt today. What's up, Carl? And when I'm back, I will, based on the results of that, shift around the numbers a little bit to kind of reflect it. So I will be...
وقتی تو هستی آسمون پر از نوره، غم از قلبم هزارون سال دوره.
الهی نشکنی قلب من و تو که هر کی عاشقه قلبش بلوره.
نگاهم کن نگاهم با نگاهت قصه ها داره، نگاهم کن که چشمت قصه های آشنا داره. برای من تو خورشیدی تو نوری، تو دریایی که سر تا پا بروری.
بمان با من که قلبی من نمیره، کناری تا دلم آروم بگیره.
دلم افسانه ای جز عشق پاک ما نمیدونه،
که تنها عشق اون افسانه خوبی که میمونه.
وقتی تو هستی آسمون پر از نوره، غم از قلبم هزارون سال دوره.
الهی نشکنی قلب من و تو که هر کی عاشقه قلبش بلوره.
نگاهم کن نگاهم با نگاهت قصه ها داره، نگاهم کن که چشمت قصه های آشنا داره.
Alright, I'm back. How's that poll looking? Whoa. Egyptian military with 9. Freedom and Justice with 2. Workers' Democratic Party with 8. And Mubarak's NDP with 1. I'll give it a bit more time for that poll to finish if anyone else wants to vote, and then I will give us some PP and adjust accordingly. Yeah, protest strength is up to 20 now. It's a little wearing. Okay, we've done edutech. We probably should do something about the agricultural issues too before we go into tourism. I think that'll be our next really big one. Gold would be good as well. Anglo gold. Oh man. Yeah, we'll go agricultural next, I think. Agricultural efforts. Our country has huge problems with irrigation. We need to spend some money on fixing them. The main thing I want is we have a modifier that's really screwing us. We have a lot of modifiers that are screwing us, but this one in particular we can do something about. Where are you? Okay, there it is. It is giving us 0.3 income at present. So for every one we get 0.3. We could get that up to 1 billion if we get all 10. Where is it? Yeah, there it is. We'll try and get rid of that. Get a better modifier here. Unfortunate. Keep working on this. Slums, only 4 to go after this one. We're getting close to dealing with that big issue, which will really help our income. Massively. Switch. Alright, 10 for the military, 8 for the Workers' Democratic Party, and 2 for freedom and justice. I'll give us some PP, and then let's go ahead and 8 for the military. I'll do 1 tick for each vote, is how I'll do this. And then the Workers' Democratic Party gets 8. One for the NDP, and 2 for freedom and justice. We banned the Freedom and Justice Party. Okay. There we go. So currently the NDP still is in charge with 24.7, followed by the Armed Forces with 24, followed by the Workers' Democratic Party with 23.4%. So a lot of very popular parties that are not Mubarak's. Though again, I think the military would be very much still supporting Mubarak's government, so we're fine on that end. For now. No, military-ran governments go great. Nothing goes wrong. Do you want Sudan issues to spread to us? No voting for the Egyptian Armed Forces. Can we get an attaché with them now? We can. We'll do that. I'm still not going to send military volunteers, though. Let's work on some of those. We need 10 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. We'll work on those when we're done. 46. What's our consumer goods at right now? Only 11. That's actually not that bad. I think we probably do need to deal with the energy production here before we build more civs, honestly. So we'll complete the ones we're working on in Cairo and Alexandria. We'll build the fossil fuel plants, which should go pretty quick here. Yep. And then we'll go back to working on civs. Yeah, Myanmar's fine. Completely fine. No abuses of power there. Fuck. Still only America. Oh, maybe the Germans. We'll try improving relations and seeing if we can get another debt bailout with them as well. Oh, great President, may I suggest modernization of the armed forces in the air sector with the new American or Russian aircraft? We could lease it, but we don't really have the civs for that right now. I want us to try and make our own, but that tech does take a very long time to get. Actually, not that bad. 873 days. We could do that realistically. When we're done with our next support equipment upgrade, I'm going to go ahead and work on next generation jets there. Probably heavily helped by the US, but I want us to try and make our own. We got to get that 5th generation fighter jet like the Iranians do. I mean, we'll need a lot of cardboard to make it, but that's fine. We can import more cardboard. Another slum in the Suez. Actually, we'll keep doing the Nile Valley. It's cheaper for now. 1 every 120 days. We need another 5, I think, right? No, 4. So we're looking at 480 days. Around a year and a half, and we will have dealt with the slum issue, which is huge. First giant step for us. Fighting illegal irrigation. Many agriculturalists in our country illegally use surface irrigation to increase their harvest and expensive future harvest grows. We must stop this practice. Iranian cardboard Gen 5 aircraft. When it touches tap water, it becomes soggy and falls apart. Yeah, have you guys seen the pictures of that? I've showed it before. Look up Iranian 5th generation jet. It's fucking hilarious. I had a video, like a Millennium Dawn stream I did of that I put on YouTube, and some Iranian was talking mad shit in the comments about it. It was funny. Like, I get you like your country, but come on, man. We can get another research slot, too. We have hit $1 trillion now. It will only cost us $4 billion. Drop in the water in our debt. Oh, God. Oh, God. The restoration of the PDRE. In a political shock, the Ethiopian government has decided to overturn the 95 constitution and cede power to the Communist Party. It's Mengitsu's government. Horrible man. Mengitsu Haile Mariam has today once again taken over leadership of the country. He, however, rejected to take an oath that would bind his now more limitless power inside the country to a preset rule of rules. He commented, "I know what's the best for the people. I don't need an oath," when asked about it by one of his few remaining international journalists. Ethiopia is now widely expected to fall back to its old dark days of the 1980s. Fucking cursed. We would not like that at all. We have no issue with strongmen, but his government in particular is not one we would like at all. We're very anti-communism. Pro-dictator anti-communism. Ish. On a good day. Embargo the Ethiopians? I don't know if we would do that, though. They are in the African Union, and we are trying to build solidarity there, so I don't know if that would be in our interest. We'd probably publicly condemn it. I think Mubarak would probably, like, you know, make some passive-aggressive comments about it, but I don't think we would explicitly ban it. Or embargo, rather. Find some more music here real quick. you ever thought of getting licensed production from the USA? Depending on your relations and what equipment they use, you can get it for free. I didn't think you could get it for free. Let me look. If we can get it for free, we will do that for sure. Go to George W. Let's go make a Christmas card shopping list here. We can produce M14s. Probably we want IFVs. And mainly this armor is what we would really like, I'm sure. M1 Abrams production would be incredible. Let's see if we can get that. Where art thou? M108s. Bradley's, that'd be huge. For free? What the fuck? You're right. Okay, they won't give us aircraft. But they will give us Abrams tanks. Which is incredible. And ridiculous. Alright, we'll pick up some Bradleys and then we're going to pick up Abrams. That's insane. What about Modernardi? Nope. Alright, we'll take those. It's free apparently. It's free real estate. If it goes true here. Is it going to let us? What the fuck? Okay. No javelins. What about old javelins? No. No stingers. I mean, I'm happy with the modern Abrams if we can just produce that, my gosh, but let's see how far we can take this bullshit. Just the Abrams, maybe. Fine by me. Fine by me. Holy shit. Okay. We have plenty of trains. We might have to import a little bit of... Yeah, we'll need to import some steel for this, though. We'll import it off the Americans. American steel making American tanks in Egypt for the Egyptian military. Gotta love that, like, no supply production of vehicles right there. Fat W, thank you for whoever said that. American tank, Russian Su-27 flanker, perfect army. We make good on our promise to our people. It's Bush. It's normal for him to sell U.S. Yeah. Buy something from W's ranch in Crawford to buffer him up. Yeah, we're importing oil from the Bush family in Texas. That's hilarious. Yeah, we're making 3 a month. That'll go up pretty quick, too. Special forces are technically better, yes, but if we can get Abrams tanks into our special forces divisions, right, that's really good. So, all we have to do is something like this, right? Special force divisions or battalions rather are some of the strongest for poor countries in terms of like resources and equipment to like stats. But if you can throw in a tank battalion with good equipment like an Abrams, icing on the cake, you know. Somalian pirates getting tanks. Don't misunderestimate the Bushes. They know humans and fish can coexist in peace. Bush Sr., man, he was a fucking G. Not a big fan of his presidency, but that man was competent. He was much more capable than his son. And who could forget Jeb! Exclamation point. A true political dynasty of unparalleled ability. Alright, we've got 2 options here. We can go surface irrigation or alternative irrigation. Pop, stability hit, max factories, construction speed, sustenance agriculture. Or pop reduction, stability gain. No, definitely not. We'll go alternative irrigation here. In the long run, such devastating practices are not acceptable, even if agricultural sector will not like it. Yeah, so we'll find other ways. Surface irrigation just hurts way too much to do. Please clap. I used to work for the Crawford Iconoclast newspaper. There's no oil. There's nothing there but rocks. I love that Bush Sr. spent his whole life doing horrific CIA war crimes to get into the halls of power and then got wrecked by some redneck from Arkansas. Yeah, Clinton? Yeah, Bush Sr. was the director of the CIA for, I want to say 5 years? Let me look. Under... I think it was... I don't remember. Who was it under? Director of the CIA under Gerald Ford, 76 to 77. It was only a year. I thought it was longer. Yeah, Bush Sr.'s got a very interesting political history. President from 89 to 93, one-term president. Vice president from 81 to 89 under Reagan. Director of the CIA from 76 to 77 under Gerald Ford. Chief of the U.S. Liaison Office to People's Republic of China from 74 to 75. Chairman of the RNC from 73 to 74. So politically connected, it's ridiculous. United States Ambassador to the UN from 71 to 73 under Nixon. And then a U.S. Congressman before that, one term. Bush Sr., not George W. George W.'s dad. Wonderful, another summit. Fighting colonialism. Cost to change internal factions, minus 50%. I don't think there's really any we would want to change besides oligarchs, but we can't really justify that with Mubarak in charge. He is the oligarch. As in, like, no oil. Do you mean on the ranch, Arthur? Good to see you, man. Do you mean on, like, the Bush ranch there's no oil? I thought their family had a pretty big oil business, or am I completely wrong about that? I could smell money with this business move. We get a license for old M60 tanks from America, and then we sell them to port. You're already ahead of my plan there, Lollipop. Okay? That was supposed to be a surprise. We are going to be selling a bunch of these tanks on the arms market, yes. Yeah, you're right. But don't spoil anything. So we can sell some of those trains. They actually go for a good amount here. And we can sell them for cheap. Not as much as I thought, though. We'll put some trains on the market, that's why I've been making them, and then maybe some convoys as well. See if we can get a little bit of factory growth with those. Try and hold on to as much as the American equipment as we can. Wow, we got 1,400 M35s. Interesting. I don't know how quickly these will sell. I haven't done too much with the international market in Millennium Dawn. Last time I did a campaign, it wasn't working. So we'll see if countries actually buy our cheap goods here. Didn't W own a baseball team or something? Did he? You know, in this timeline, Bush could run in 2008 against Obama. That's a campaign I'd love to see, not gonna lie. That'd be pretty wild. I actually liked McCain a lot. I wasn't old enough to vote in 08, but I probably would have voted for Obama, but I would have been on the fence, to be honest. McCain was pretty interesting. Like, he was like the last big Republican I would have seriously considered voting for, besides maybe Romney. 2012, I also was not old enough to vote, but I might have voted for Romney. Depends. Not perfect people by any means, but the last of the old generation of Republicans who were, I mean, respectable. And made good points. And campaigned in a reasonable manner. Okay, we got another slot with our 5th. Let's go ahead and do advanced computing. Sarah Palin for VP was political suicide, but you gotta remember, that was when the Tea Party movement was just gigantic, right? Like, the Tea Party movement, a lot of people forget about, especially if you're younger, but that was a really, really big part of the Republican Party during the 08 campaign. So, Palin was kind of like his move to bring in that crowd, but to be fair, they were gonna vote for him anyway, so he should have probably chosen someone else. She was such a political liability. W owned less than 2% of the Texas Rangers. His biggest contribution was naming their ballpark the ballpark of Arlington. It's not very catchy, is it? No, not MAGA. Tea Party is prior to the MAGA movement. Tea Party was like a grassroots movement that like was disenfranchised with like the current state of politics and like wealth inequality, actually. It was like Occupy Wall Street, but like the Republican side of things. It kind of got taken over by crazies and went like very wild with like people like Palin, and she was like the more reasonable part of the Tea Party movement in like the fringe. But the Tea Party, I don't know, it's an interesting movement. The original core part of it, I think, was pretty reasonable. It just got, as many political movements do, taken over by more extreme groups. Alright, wonderful. We can get rid of irrigation problems. Second Nile Project. The Egyptian government decided to develop a new valley where agricultural and industrial communities would develop. It has been an ambitious project, which could mean, was meant to help Egypt cope with its rapidly developing population. So we get rid of that really shitty modifier, which is what I wanted. And then we almost have the slums completely gone as well. Huge. I mean, not MAGA as Republicans you like or consider voting for. No, I never vote for anyone in the MAGA movement. Not a chance. Got that interest rate. Can we get a debt bailout? Let's check that again. Nope, only the US. And again, we gotta do those focuses if we want another one. They would hit us with 333 billion debt relief though, which is insane. I will probably do those focuses after we do the gold ones. I think I'll do the gold first. Let's expand our fertilizer production. And then we're going to do probably like maybe the UAE or Syria. Combat foreign influence, and we're going to hit the US's influence on us as well there. Try and get those numbers down. I really do want us to get to regional power, and we got to get rid of that if we want to. Yeah, still plenty of power. Maybe you do the tourist tree to bring in more money. Yeah, that's another we need to do. There's just a lot we need to do. Financially, I think gold will probably be the one we go for next. When we're done with gold, we'll probably do tourism. And then, like, while we're doing tourism, I'm going to do, like, the national security cooperation with the U.S. stuff as well. We want to get that one right there. Again, for now, we're just very much staying out of the Iraqi problem. Hands off. China pivots towards India. For decades, China and Pakistan have been close strategic partners due to their shared distrust of India. However, this has recently started to change, with China giving up its commitments to defend Pakistan, as well as ending joint military exercises and investment projects between the two countries. The Chinese are reportedly putting out signals to the Indians that these measures represent a long-term reorientation of Chinese foreign policy, rather than simply a short-term spat. Wow. Now, this is a wild timeline. It's a scary timeline. If India and China, like, cooperated and didn't hate each other, that would be a very interesting history. and certainly not a good one for the power of the West. China and India just hate each other so much that would have been so hard to do. Chinese bailout? Possibly. Let's look. Oh, Spain will give us one again. We'll do that. Why Spain? I do not know, but sure. Huge. We'll send an ambassador to China and see. We are very Western aligned, though, is the thing. Like, sure, we are playing, like, the different sides for our own benefit, but... I don't know. Oh, look at that. Look at that. We're almost in the green, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting there. Trust the process. Yeah, the West would go down much quicker. Would it make sense to do security before tourism to make it attractive? It might. I think, like, part of, like, Egypt's development of the tourism industry was, like, hand in hand with security, so we'll probably do them, like, together. I mean, even to this day, Egypt's not the safest country to visit for tourism, you know, if you don't know where you're going. It's the best plain temp for Millennium Dawn. I have a video on a bunch of templates on my YouTube channel, King of Glory. But apparently I heard from someone is that the templates I made were just made the default ones in Millennium Dawn, so probably those. I don't know if that's true anymore, but there was a long comment on my video claiming I copied the Millennium Dawn starter templates, but I think they just took mine. But there is a video if you want to see it. It's on the YouTube channel. When the slums are gone, when we've developed our gold industry, and by the time we've dealt with our energy deficit, I think we'll probably be in the green. Oh no, our literacy went down by 1.5%? What is the mechanic for that again? There we go. Focus tree, events, decisions. Alright. Unfortunate. I'm sure China's foreign policy would want to work with Egypt despite relations due to strategic location. Oh, 100%. With the Suez Authority. Absolutely. We'll wait till we have the political power, then we'll send someone. That interest rate is down to 12%. US bailout would almost put us in the green, but again, not quite yet. We are up to 3G. Alright, our next research slot will come with 20,000 GDP, I think, per capita. We're at like 16? Almost. We're getting there, bit by bit. China aims to take back Outer Mongolia. After more than half a century of tolerance, China has decided not to tolerate the betrayal of the Yalta Conference and will forcibly seize the Outer Mongolian region. There's little hope for the future of Ulaanbaatar government in a far-flung Inner Asia. Wow, this is a very interesting Chinese foreign policy timeline. They're doing some wild shit here. SA focus tree sounds interesting. Which one, Nico? I hope Millennium Dawn makes a South Africa focus tree. I've been waiting a long time for it. I think it's in the next update, King, when it's supposed to come out. Or did it already come out? I'm not too sure. Let me look. It's been on their agenda for a while. Such an important country in Africa. No, not yet. I think it's the next update. Let me make sure I know what I'm talking about. Let me check the Discord real quick. No, it's not on their list anymore. It was, I think, a little bit, but no, it's not planned at the moment. So in 1.11, the trees that are coming is going to be Morocco, Algeria, an expansion on Libya, Tanzania, Australia, the Afghan Northern Alliance, a reworked Japanese tree, or added on to Brazil tree. Interesting. And then the EU is going to get a new shared tree. They're going to change it a bunch. And then in 1.11, Ireland, Netherlands, Germany, Hungary, and Croatia, Finland, and Sweden are getting massive expansions to their trees. Huh, okay. I thought they were making one. I'd love to see South Africa too, dude. It's probably one of the most important they haven't done at present, but we'll see. Denise, how are you doing? Good to see you, dude. The apartheid happened, up until the 90s, I think, is when the apartheid government in South Africa got ousted. South Africa apartheid. To 94. 48 after they were given independence by Britain, and then up until 94. Yeah. Super interesting. Hey man, I just found your content on YouTube and I'm making my way through the House Tours campaign. Oh. Hope you enjoy that, man. It's my favorite campaign I've ever done, dude. I hope you enjoy. So much fun. Where am I seeing this? On Wikipedia. Yeah, on Wikipedia. Is there a urban and rural divide in South Africa too? Yes. The city, it's more complicated than just rural and urban. It's actually urban and urban divide, where, as far as I understand it to this day, South Africa has a ton of crime. They completely failed to develop, like, after... Oh, I can rant about this for a while. My knowledge on this is not great, but I know a bit of the history. When the post-apartheid government came into power, they negotiated with a prior apartheid government. And one of, I believe, like, the biggest concessions that happened was basically all of the government's wealth, like businesses, corporations, and private holding, went private and stayed in the hands of the post-apartheid, like, white ruling class, right? So the government, the ANC government that came into power after apartheid, promised basically, like, development and, like, the wealth to be spread out away from just, like, the white ruling class. But the deal they signed when they took power with the apartheid government basically made it so they had no ability to do that. Like, the banking sector, a lot of the government's, like, ownership of, like, you know, industry in South Africa stayed in private hands. So it effectively, like, meant the ANC didn't have the wealth, the currency, and, like, the ability to even privatize, right? To generate money for these sorts of programs. So as a result of that, again, don't take me as a complete source on this because my knowledge is very half-baked, but it meant that the ANC completely failed to do that, and wealth kind of stayed where it was. So basically, again, like, the wealthy white class from, like, you know, British colonists had all the money and all the power. So to this day, there's huge amounts of poverty in South Africa. The ANC became very corrupt later on, especially in the 2000s to this day as well. And that's resulted in a lot of, like, the big cities in South Africa kind of having these, like, militarized, literally gated. When I say gated, I don't mean, like, gated like America. I mean, like, walls built communities of, like, the really rich white upper class who kind of, like, have, like, these very wealthy little hubs in cities, and then the rest of the city is still, like, very poor, very underdeveloped, very high crime and things like that. So it's a very complicated situation and kind of very sad. Like I said, though, like, the apartheid government got so many concessions from the ANC when they took power that they were never going to probably succeed to start with. I think they even promised nationalization of a lot of, like, these different assets, the ANC did, and then they couldn't. Like, legally, they couldn't. And of course, like, Western groups didn't support them. So it's a really tragic case of good intentions and then just inability to do what they promised. The ANC wasn't communist. They were more kind of like socialists, obviously. And then, like, just the party decayed, corrupted, and just, you know, kind of failed to do what they promised, and now they're just a very corrupt, underdeveloped state. I mean, so much expectation was there for South Africa for a long time, right? The BRICS, which was thought to be, like, the biggest up-and-coming political economic bloc in, like, the 2000s and 2010s, which kind of has become less relevant as, like, the SCO, and then China has kind of gone more independent, gone, like, It hasn't needed to work with other groups. Russia's kind of declined, right? But the BRICS originally was obviously Russia, China, Brazil, and then South Africa. I'm missing one, India. And they were in that grouping because they were thought that they were going to develop very quickly and become like probably one of the wealthier, powerful African countries. They just haven't. That never happened. So it's kind of a very tragic case. But again, a focus tree for them would be amazing and really interesting. So again, don't take me as an authority on it. I've read a bit about it, but I'm not an expert. I barely know what I'm talking about. All right, the fields are looking pretty dry. During this time of year, our fields are usually far more forgiving than they are. Our agricultural minister is concerned that this could be leading up to a more serious drought after than just a bit more sun. If money is tight, we can always try to siphon some from our neighbors' water supplies. That'll end very well. 35 billion, Jesus. We can attempt to steal some. I need to pee again, so I'm gonna give you guys a pull while I go to the bathroom again. Ladies and gentlemen, how are we going to deal with the water crisis? Are we going to steal from Libya and or Israel and or Sudan, or are we going to just invest $35 billion, which we can't afford? Up to you guys, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. We are going to steal water. Alright. BRICS as a whole is still a very important economic organization, even though the members might not like each other, especially with the new members that have been added. Oh, it's still very relevant. But a lot of people, I remember in the 2010s, kind of saw it as... how to describe it? Like, it was going to almost, like, become a major competitor to, like, kind of Western economic organizations and stuff like that. Like, it was going to develop so quickly it would become, like, the big one, you know, which it never really did. At least currently. Corruption and negligence from immigration leading to very high rise of unemployment of native South Africans, and unemployment led to crime, and the police force and military are very corrupt, and the white and black difference is massive. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. Kind of sad. Song sounds like something from Evangelion. I haven't watched that in forever. Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna steal some water. Somebody needs to call George Clooney and Matt Damon. Alright, we are done with our major Nile project, and the water crisis has been alleviated for the moment. Let's do some gold mining. Our land is very rich with natural gold deposits. We must dig deeper to sell it. Nothing goes wrong when you dig too deep too quickly, right? The dwarfs did nothing wrong. Still got a deficit on energy, though. Alright, 4 more, and then we'll do number 3. 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna go back to working on civs. Cool. Nothing immediately has gone wrong. Keep siphoning that water. Have you ever thought about playing as Ukraine in the new update? I've thought about it. There's a lot of countries I'd love to do. It's just I can only do so many at once, so I kind of have to prioritize. Like, I only stream once a week right now. During the upcoming Victoria 3 multiplayer game, I'll stream twice a week, but then I'm just going to go back to one. Because again, I'm moving, going to college again, so I kind of got to prioritize. Like I said, the next big one I probably will do will be the US, then I'll probably do a Singapore run. I have thought about a Ukraine run, again, but here's a few others I want to do first. They got a huge tree. It is a lot of fun. Wow, they added so much. Holy crap. I didn't realize it was that much. Huh. I'd love to do Russia too, but I don't really want to play them during the war until the war is done. It's gross, man. Going back to college for economics. I've said it before, I don't actually have my bachelor's. I almost had it. I was going to school at UC San Diego until I moved out to Ohio, where I live right now, in my mid-20s. And then I had to drop out of school because COVID had happened. I had to move. I lost my job because of COVID. And I was 2 quarters away from getting my degree, and I had to stop. So going back, getting my bachelor's, not in poli-sci. I'm going to do an econ, and then I want to go to master's program. So we'll see. Should be fun. If you play as Chad in this mod, do you get an attack bonus for having the Toyota Hilux? I have no idea. I'm not gonna say where I'm going. It's in Ohio. I'll say that. I don't want to dox myself too hard. I mean, I am a tiny streamer, but even then, I don't want to. It's in Ohio. It's not a great school, but I'll get my degree there, and I want to use that to jump, hopefully, to a better school for my master's. We'll see. Yeah, Croatia's getting an update. That'll be interesting. Hungary too, I think, right? They don't have one right now, but they're gonna get one. Viktor Orban. What a cunt. They get another debt bailout from Spain? Yes, please. I don't know where the Spanish are getting all this money to buy our debt, but hey. A W is a W, you know. Oh, yeah. We're almost down to $1 trillion, folks. Look at that. Interest rate only 10%. And we are so close to being in the green. Holy shit. Again, couple more of these energy plants. Couple more civs. We're going to be chilling. It's in a cornfield. Yes, you're right. All right, am I going to go back to California? Nah. I'm going to college in Ohio. I don't know where I'll go after. Not Ohio, I know that. This state isn't the worst, but I don't like it very much. I grew up like next to the Sierras, dude. Like, I want to go like live near the ocean or the mountains, either one. Mid-America is too flat for me. They're getting it from gold mines in South America. The Von Habsburgs are back. Fuck. A Balkan playthrough, maybe. Maybe one day. I'll probably run Croatia's tree at some point after that comes out. For me, like a focus tree and a mod, even like Millennium Dawn, it needs to have something interesting to it. Either it's like this Egypt playthrough where you're just fucked and you gotta get out of it. I enjoy that a lot. Or you just gotta have a really interesting focus tree and stuff like that. And there's a good amount of them, but like I said, probably in order: USA, Singapore, then maybe Ukraine, maybe UK when it gets its focus tree updated. No way. No way. Central African Republic Bush War escalates. Okay, that's right. Recent French involvement in the Central African Republic has spurred more of the populace of the Republic to join the various rebel groups against the government. The fighting has now reached a much louder crescendo as the rebel forces have banded together to lose coalition to topple the government. It's gotten even worse. That's accurate. Oh my god. Yep. There we go. Historically accurate. In that you don't know what the fuck's going on. Idaho, maybe? Don't you dare say that again, Denise. What's up, Linus? Golden Circle, Greece, British, Byzantine Empire again. Dude, I did that so long ago. Dolphin, were you in that stream like years ago when I did Golden Circle? Yeah, Byzantine? Oh my gosh. And then I also will start streaming again the Mega Campaign sometime this year, so that'll take up a lot of streaming. Oh, so close. 2 more slums, folks. That will be in the green. That was my big goal for today, to just not be running a massive deficit. Yeah, if we get in the green, and if we get a debt bailout from the US, we're going to be looking actually very, very good here. We'll be able to do some fun stuff after that. Start throwing our weight around a little bit. Yeah, you suggested it? Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, that was a fun one. Long time ago. The Central African nations are getting the Balkan stereotype of constantly being in a war. I mean, it's warranted. That shit was such a clusterfuck. Alright. Alex Nubia Mining. Alexander Nubia is a focused gold exploration company working in Egypt, exploring for and developing economic gold deposits in the central eastern desert of the Arabian Nubian Shield. We'll get 5 rare metals. Rare metals? Is that what it is? Or precious metals, I think. Yeah, precious metals. So close. Linus Democratic Guard. Sure. Linus Democratic Guard. There you are. You have a tank division. Congratulations. All we need now is for Bosnia to claim the Congo. Accurate. It's like that Star Wars meme. Somehow Tito has returned and has taken over the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which is Casus Belli Balkan territory. That does sound like a Millennium Dawn cursed event, though, doesn't it? Ooh, this is a good song. Who did this? So close. Then maybe we can do something about our funding issue and like the angry protesters who are getting larger and larger in Cairo. Don't look at them. Mengitsu has attacked our influence in Eritrea. Careful, bud. Oh, God. Major financial institution fails. Headlines have broken about a major financial institution going bust. The media is running rampant with this and heading for the hills. The government is being begged for response as fears of a larger crisis are on the horizon. We are almost at 08, to be fair. God damn it. God damn it. We were almost in the green. Too big to fail. We'll bail him out. We're so close. God damn it.
In his most famous poem,
Did this dude sample an Obama speech? Holy shit.
peace to both his friend and his enemy. Today, as the president of
That's
the United
fucking
States
hilarious.
of America, I offer the Cuban people a saludo de paz.
That's a pretty good song. Adding that to my Spotify. I'm sure you can join EU despite not being Western. We're basically a European country, right? I mean, we were colonized by the Greeks. We're basically Greek by way of the Ptolemies. So we should be able to join the EU. That stands to reason, right? That's a logical argument. Drop the song name? Sure. Una Rosa Blanca by Ibrahim Malouf. Europe stops at the Sahara? I can get behind that. I mean, if we get in the EU, holy shit. I mean, the EU is the future of, like, Western economic and political power, so getting into that would be huge. I'd love to say that the African Union will be like that, but not in the next couple centuries, most likely. Cleopatra was from Greece, right? Yeah, she was a Ptolemy. I mean, they stayed Greek, if you know what I'm saying. They stayed Greek. I'm, of course, alluding to incest, which was very common in the Ptolemy dynasty and all the Pharaoh dynasties. Marrying your sister. The Ptolemies are basically like the Targaryens of Egypt, you know? They were outsiting invader force of a massive army and took power. Didn't have dragons. Wonderful. Let's see what that does to our income here. I'm gonna wait to see what this does before I go ahead and do another focus. I want to see if it's worthwhile to pursue it. Actually, I can do it this way. It gave us a good little bit there. We'll do the next two. Sukari Gold Mine. Sukari is Egypt's first large-scale modern mine, serving by smooth tarmac roads, off-grid power, solar, and 25-kilometer water pipeline fed by the Red Sea. The landscape and climate can be unforgiving in Egypt's mineral-rich eastern desert. Cool. And we have an energy surplus for the first time in a while, too, which is incredible. We'll go back to working on civs. Reduce the slums. Thank you, Dolphin. I forgot. 2 to go. So close. Okay. Domestic independence again, I think, for our political power. I'm really trying to let that not get out of hand here. Combat foreign influence, and we're going to hit the influence of Spain, which is up to 42%. Oh my god. What is this timeline where, like, the Spanish have massive political power over Egypt due to buying all their national debt? Kind of hilarious. Uh-oh. We got more religious issues ongoing here. Reduce the slumlords. Alexander to make up for it, though. Alexander wasn't a Ptolemy, was he? Was Ptolemy and Alexander related? I didn't think they were. wow, they were related. I didn't know that. Ptolemy I was the son or Arsone of Macedon by either her husband Lagus or Philip II of Macedon, who was, of course, Alexander's father. The latter is unlikely and may be a myth fabricated to glorify the Ptolemy dynasty, but it is possible they're related. Huh. Okay, that's interesting. They were, yeah, I know they were childhood friends. Ptolemy was one of Alexander's most trusted generals during his campaigns. Oh, good. Mexico's actually going to buy some of our support equipment. Who the fuck is their leader? I'm sorry, what? Monarchist Mexico! Oh, come on, Millennium Dawn. The House of Iturbide? I'm saying that wrong. Count Maximilian von Gotzen Iturbide of Mexico. Is this a real person? Maximilian. How do I spell that? Iturbide. He's a real person. Maximilian Graf von Gotzen Iturbide is a Hungarian-born businessman. He's the current head of the Imperial House of Mexico, which was out of Maximilian the Austrian, I think, like cousin, or was it brother of Franz Joseph? Since the death of his grandmother Maria de Iturbide in 49, he's the great-great-grandson of Augustin of Mexico. That's hilarious. He's a real person. Sure, why not? Why not? Oh, got a trade agreement from Slovenia there, but it disappeared. Holy shit. The fuck's going on in the Balkans? The Bosnian Federation. The Herzegovina Federation, and the... I'm not going to try that. There's another federation. Just average Balkan bullshit right there, if I've ever seen it. Alright. We're actually getting pretty advanced here in terms of, like, our research tech, which is really nice. Still have a pretty big deficit, though. No, we're at 0. Exactly. Wonderful. We're getting there, folks. Trust the process. Mexico could say incest is back on the menu. Yeah, Hungarian prince is the current king of Mexico. That is correct. Remember how people tried to bring back the Kaiser in Germany last year? Did they? That seems not very wise. Expand our fertilizer production, and we're gonna send a task force to Syria. Expand that a little bit. Look at that. We're so close. Almost there. A failed coup. No. That's hilarious. There's a plot to overthrow the government and bring back the Kaiser. I did remember reading something about that. Wasn't it like almost no support though, like at all? Imagine unironically trying to bring back a monarchist in the modern era. That's like playing slots, like political slots with monarchs, you know? If you've got a gambling addiction, I guess it's understandable. SDP is going to stay in power in Brazil. Lula and his party have not gotten any power in Brazil. Cardoza back in power. I'm sorry, what? I guess he took a break from his lecture/teaching tour in the US. Nice. Huh. Cool, got the gold mine. Alright, let's do a little bit of cooperation with the Americans. Finishing the Syrian-Turkish negotiations. Egypt has long been acting as a negotiator and mediator between the Syrian-Turkish normalization of relations. Time has come to finalize them. And this will let us get a security pact with the Americans. It's, I think, long enough after the Iraqi invasion, we can probably justify that. They got arrested for it? Yeah, no support. Building internet towers help your literacy rate. I don't know. I don't think so. It didn't say anything about it in the menu that I'm aware of. Egypt's under Rakai Kutan? They seem to be doing all right. A lot of factories, that's for sure. They're outpacing us. We're getting a bit of an oil crisis here. Again, I'm going to import some more from the Saudis. I got the point that inheriting the nation should make them care about it, but one schizo ruler would ruin it all. Exactly. Monarchs are inefficient, man. The good ones are great, but they're so rare. Again, it's the same as like the gambling mindset. It's like, yeah, I won at slots once. I mean, I lost 50 times and outpaced my gains by like 10-1, but once I won at the casino. That's what like winning monarchs is like. Just one more time. It'll work this time. I don't have a problem. You have a problem. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in this game, in 2006, it only took 6 years, we are officially in the green. If we get the security pack with the Americans, I'm going to get them to give us a debt bailout, and then we're going to be looking pretty freaking good here. And then we're going to start to focus on probably military expansion, to be honest. How many Abrams do we have? 51. No, 57. Huge. Trade agreement with the UAE, absolutely. African summits, it's focusing on infrastructure investments, which we're not really working on, so that's a little inconvenient, but sure. Turkey did not agree. Following recent Egypt-mediated negotiations between Syria and Turkey, Turkey did not want to establish a non-aggression pact with Syria and continued to show animosity. Good diplomacy if I've ever seen it. Truly, Mubarak is a master. American security expansion. As a second most ally of the United States in the Middle East, we can try to convince them to expand their security policies to us as well. We'll do that. Huge. Then we'll ask for a debt bailout. Yeah. Yeah, our tank divisions have a lot of Abrams. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll send an ambassador to the Bush White House. Turkey doesn't like the Kurds in Syria, that's why. Yeah. Among other reasons. Have a good night, Trucker Nero. Catch you later. The other Turkish parties, yeah, sure. Which I don't think I can. I'm not going to try and pronounce these. The Virtue Party, the Nationalist Movement Party, is very popular. The True Path Party, the Republican People's Party, and then the Democratic Left Party. The ruling one right now is the Virtue Party, with Rakai Kutan. Bad ending? I don't know any of the parties. Except the last one. I know that was, I forget his name. The one at the start. Wi-Fi in 2006. Nice. You can get 1 bar in the Cairo airport now. Better than, like, what it currently is, too. Uh-oh. And we built all those new fossil fuel plants, and they require oil, so we're going to have to import even more here. Unfortunate. Syria and Turkey seem to have had bad relations as so much troops on each other's borders. It's been like that as long as I can remember. No, you're right. 1 bar in 2006 is not bad. You're right. Your BlackBerry is gonna work very well. You guys remember like phone games in the 2000s? I didn't get my first phone until I was a junior in high school. My dad was very anti-phone, probably a good thing. But he had a cell phone in the 2000s. And I remember playing like fucking Snake on it and shit. The games were so weird in early phones. Like flip phones and shit. That was a wild time. Flappy Bird. I think I've told this before. Flappy Bird blew up my senior year of high school. It was really popular. Everyone was playing it. Everyone had it on their phone. Everybody I knew. And I was in an AP physics class that was pretty interesting. The teacher was like a fun guy. Probably not the best teacher, but he was pretty fun. He also just didn't give a fuck half the time. And I remember like he also got Flappy Bird on his phone and was playing it. And I don't know how it happened, but he ended us like one of the kids was like playing Flappy Bird in class before like our final, like not our final, but one of our exams. And the physics teacher basically said, if you can get past like I think level 50 or 60 in it, like like the amounts you could get to, no one in this class has to take this exam. And in front of the entire class, this dude got all the way to that point, and we didn't have to take the test. He was a very popular guy for quite a while. Fucking wild. And our teacher actually did as he said. Like, we didn't take the exam. Fucking wild. So, I love Flappy Bird. Mainly for that reason. I mainly just got pissed off playing it personally. But, hey, hell yeah. One left, folks. One left. Last slum we're getting rid of in the Suez. Mexico's buying more of our support equipment. They are militarizing under their Austrian-Hungarian monarch. I need to try and keep our interest rate above 10% so we can get one big bailout. Yoshio Mori formed a government. Still blows my mind that we're in the timeline where Shinzo Abe got assassinated, though. Fucking wild. Let's do some doctrine. Division organization, Army defense breakthrough, soft attack, hard attack, brigade size. I want us to go tank heavy, so we're gonna go with armored combat teams. We're gonna really expand our tanks. This I will wait on. I'm gonna go blue auto navy. As always, I do want us to build a navy, so we'll go for that. And then just air doctrine. I used to have a spreadsheet for this. I think Battlefield Support's the good one, though. If I remember correctly. It's been a while. Didn't Shinzo Abe whitewash Japanese crime history? Every single one of their prime ministers have. That's a universal theme there. They don't acknowledge it. They ignore it. Yeah, they're like the opposite of the Germans. They don't teach that shit. They don't acknowledge that shit. They just pretend that their country didn't exist between the years of like 1880 and 1950. That didn't exist. It's just a black hole in the timeline. Because the best way to deal with a fucked up history is to ignore it, as we all know. More tanks. Alright, cool. We've got American security guarantee now, and we've expanded our working with them. Let's also build our own national security agency. The National Security Agency is an Egyptian security service, the main domestic security agency of Egypt, and the successor of the State Security Investigation Service. Its main responsibilities are counterintelligence, internal and border security, counterterrorism, and surveillance, and torturing prisoners for the American CIA on black sites. They're also very good at that. Japan's calendar isn't like ours since they're in the year 5. I did not know that. Yeah, South Korea and Japan have a very tense relationship. Every single country except Western countries deny their war crimes. That's why they get so much shit about it. And a lot of Western countries just do it too, just to a lesser degree. It is unfortunate. We have pretty high stability, so I think I will increase our tax rate. We'll stick to 45, and then try and get another domestic sovereignty thing here. We'll do our next mission to the UAE. USA, France, and the UK have no war crimes in their history. That is true. Dude, the shit in America of, like, some of our states trying to, like, make and use textbooks to explicitly ignore, like, so much shit is wild. Ugh. Bailout from the US? Yep. Absolutely. If we can get it. We can get it. Oh my god. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Daddy USA, give us that GDP. Oh yeah. 1 trillion. 8% interest rate. 8.8. We can work with that. Huge. Nice. That interest is way down. Internal security spending we have to do. Everything else we kind of have to do here. So we'll just keep running this and expand our industry as we go, and we should slowly pay off the debt and expand our economy. This is where I want us. As I said, trust the process. We're in very good shape. The only thing that could fuck this up is a bunch of angry people wanting democracy in the streets of Cairo, but that won't happen. Not a chance. Michigan attacked Ohio and got the Upper Peninsula for it. In history? I don't remember that. American states were very competitive. Have you guys ever seen the map of, like, what Virginia used to claim as its territory back in the day? Let me see if I can find a pic. It's pretty funny. Virginian state claims historic. This shit's funny. Let's see if there's a map. I want a valid source here. They did actually control all of West Virginia before it got split, and they claimed a bunch more too. Here we go. Check this shit out. These are the claims of the different states, like, in, like, just post-revolutionary era. Look at the shit they claim. Look at that. Pennsylvania claimed a ton. The Carolinas claimed so much. Look at that. Hilarious. Massachusetts has claimed everything north. Fucking wild, dude. Super Virginia. Needless to say, they didn't get it. They didn't get what they wanted. They're in for a lot of disappointment after this. Poor Maryland, never heard of it. Yeah. Pretty funny. Early American state history is fucking wild. Okay. We have officially given black sites to the CIA, so we're in good with the Americans. Probably tourism now, I think. Yeah. Tourism it is. Tourism sector. Tourism is one of the most successful economic sectors in our country. 21st century is a century of rapid travel and vacations. Considering our potential in this sphere might actually bring us a lot of benefits. Hell yeah. Any more bailouts we could do? Spain, I know you love our debt. You want some more? No, we're not in a debt crisis anymore. God damn it. That's a good thing. Technically. But we can't get any more debt bailouts. It's for the best, I suppose. Yeah. Alright, now we'll just work on domestic independence. Torture site set up, time to bring the tourists. Yes, we're going historical here. I mean, it's nice. Like, the CIA agent, after he's done waterboarding a suspected terrorist from Iraq who is just a small business owner, will be able to go enjoy the lovely coastside spas of Sharm el-Sheikh. It's perfect. Great vacationing options. Nice. Neural networks. We'll go for data mining next. We actually almost have 4th generation fighter jets too, which is huge. We don't have to lease anything off the Americans besides those tanks. 3 a week now. Wow. Wonder how much we can make off of selling this. Wow, not as much as I thought, actually. That's fine. We'll use them. Would America bill us out now, or is it still too soon? I already did one, Nico. We did our last one, and we are no longer in a deficit crisis because our interest rate is below 10%. We're down to 8.5, which is still huge for state debt, but not bad compared to where it was. We were up to like 16. So we can't get any more bailouts. Now it's up to us. It's got to run that surplus for a while. And then we got our last big one here. This is huge. This is the moment we're going to have a good economy. No problem at all. Yeah, 8.5% in country debt is very bad. Yeah, it's very bad. But, I mean, we are Egypt. Dude, after I like vacationed in Egypt and I came back to the US, I had around 200 USDs worth of Egyptian currency that I forgot to exchange or buy anything with. And I was on the plane and I was like, oh yeah, I can just get this exchange when I get home. I was living in Sacramento at the time, and I went down to like one of like the big like banks that did like Forex transactions and like did currency exchanges. And I knew I wasn't gonna get like a good rate on it, but I at least wanted to get like $100 in USD back. And I go in and I'm like, hey, I have a bunch of Egyptian currency to trade for American currency. And they're like, yeah, we don't do that. We don't do that. The Egyptian currency is way too inconsistent. We can't give you anything for that. And I went to like 2 other places around town. No one would exchange it. I still have that money somewhere in a box somewhere. I mean, it's worth like probably $20 now. That sucked. Pretty funny though. But yeah, if you got a weak currency, if you're not trusted financial institutions like Egypt has, you're gonna pay very high interest rates on government debt. This is what happens. Wonderful. The slums have been dealt with, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we are almost at a 2 billion surplus now. That is fucking huge. Look at that. Fuck yeah. There we go. Good if you need to flee the US? Yeah, I can get like 10 good dinners in Cairo with that money. Alright, we are in good shape here. 1.3 trillion GDP, 17,000 GDP per capita. Interest rates at around 8% and debt about to go below $1 trillion with a debt to GDP ratio of 85%. Very nice. Our shrouding pyramids. The ancient pyramids of Egypt are world-famous wonders of this world. We must find a way to monetize their interesting position. Huge. What's that in Zimbabwe money? Like trillions. You got a bunch of rubles from 2018 and can't change them? Yeah. Yeah. Gotta be careful with bringing home foreign currencies to the US. If it's like euros or yen or pounds, you're chilling, but a lot of currencies aren't very well trusted. Too volatile. Gotta get out of that agricultural industry. Turkey's starting to become expensive for tourists now, by the way. Yeah, I've heard. I really want to take a trip to Turkey. I never have. Almost did a couple times. I really want to see Constantinople / Istanbul. I really want to see Cappadocia, like the ruins there. I really want to go to like Troy. I want to go like, there's a hike you can do along like the southern region. Denise, you probably know about this. Where like the old, what's the name of that kingdom? It was like Greek era like kingdom in southern Turkey that built these really cool mausoleums into mountains. There's a big hike you can do. I want to do that. And then there's this mountain name route over in the east I'd love to go to. But yeah, it's getting expensive. Probably sooner the better, really. At least you don't have 10,000 worth of Hungarian forints. Is that their currency? I'm trying to do democratic Iraq, and right now it's 2003 and no invasion yet. It's coming. Don't worry. Yeah, Turkey's got a lot of really cool places to go to. And then there's that, like the oldest city that they've ever found is in Turkey. And then there's that giant, like, ancient megalithic temple as well. There's a lot of really interesting historic sites there. Forget the name. Influence campaign, and then we're going to hit Spanish influence. I want to try and get regional power today. We'll see if we can. I'm only going to stream for a little bit longer here. Still a fucking minor power. What do we need? 2.5, and we are at 0.5? Oh, we're still at 0.5. Jesus. We probably have a ways to go on that, but we won't be getting any more, which is nice. Gopekli Tepe is the one, yes, thank you. Ball Lobster. Interesting site. Very, very interesting to look up. And a visit if you ever go to Turkey. $50 more billion and we'll be under $1 trillion in debt. Start to work on some GMOs. And let's work on network infrastructure in Alexandria, in Cairo, in the Suez, our main hubs, and then the Nile Valley. We'll max out our infrastructure there too. Uh-oh. We need to raise our welfare spending, but that's going to knock out all of our surplus, so I want to run that as long as we can just to try and get further and further out of debt. Really, I want the interest rate low. I don't care about the debt number. I care about that interest rate number. If we get below 6%, I'm going to be very happy with it. It's not that horrible. Inflation has been slowing down, but shit's still expensive. I'm just sick of everything getting worse in quality and unnecessarily expensive, even from dollar base. What's causing that right now, Mage? Someone said we had to do security before we do tourism. You're right. We have to do tourism police before we can even develop anything. Where is that? Yeah, we gotta go into the military focuses. Okay. Lessons from the war with Israel. We have had many wars with Israel. We must learn from these conflicts to ensure future military success. There is no option. We have to go do a bit of that. We are spending nothing on welfare, Denise. We have literally the lowest possible contribution we can get. Non-aggression pact with Nigeria. Yes. Yikes. Aha. And we have our 4th generation jet. Wonderful. We've got most of the components I went for, too. I'm just going to go look at my own videos, probably to design these, I think. We'll get 05 small arms as well. Hold up. I gotta go look at my own YouTube video. It's been a while.
In this video,
Skip to what I need here. Okay. I don't have a lot of the components we do need here, unfortunately. No, I do not. That is unfortunate. They've changed a lot of it, too. I need to redo some of these videos. Reliability is really high, so I can actually modify this a bit. Not that much, though. That'll work. For now. These are by no means meta, folks, but it'll work for our purposes. And I'm going to throw 2 on aircraft, because getting those are more important. I have any Vic-3 guides? I have one on trade, and I have one on, like, how Navy works for stuff. I may make some more in the future. I just haven't been making a lot of videos. When you rewatch your own stuff? Yeah. Been a while. Like I said, I do need to update a lot of these. I'm still, like, only halfway done through that commander guide I've been working on. I just haven't done a ton on it this summer. Didn't want to spend a ton of time editing. I don't mind editing YouTube videos. It's not a ton of fun for me personally, especially for like guides. Like, I'm glad people enjoy them and I make money off of them, of course, but they're not my favorite thing to do. So I just didn't do too much this summer. More kind of chilling. Okay. What, the US's influence here? Central Bank buying dollars because it was in a negative for a long time. Our economy minister trying to tax everything. Oh. Interesting. That doesn't sound very well run. I bought it, but I have no idea how to play it. Then played 200 hours of CK3 in 3 weeks. Generalist Gaming has some really good Vic 3 guides. I don't like his style the most, but he knows what he's talking about. They're very good in terms of, like, teaching you the game. Check out Generalist Gaming, I think it's called. They're just like, they're the typical, like Paradox ranting style videos, but, like, it's very good. Watch him over me. He's much more informed. Alright, we're at around 4 hours. I'm going to stream here for today. I want to start making myself only stream for 4 hours on weekends, just so I don't do too much and get overextended. We'll end here. Next week, next Saturday, I'm going to continue this game. We'll keep going now that we are finally in a surplus right now, and we can get rid of the debt, develop our military, and get a little heavy-handed with our diplomacy in the Middle East. Next Sunday, I'm going to be starting a Victoria 3 multiplayer game, light roleplay. So there'll be some roleplay, but not super heavy. No giant mega posting and things like that. It's open to anyone. Details of that are in the Discord if you're interested. If not, I'll be streaming it, and it'll be on YouTube. Beyond that, I hope you all enjoyed the stream. Have a good weekend, and I'll catch you later.